And after the complex math we've just done, it's time for session. We're picking back up Saturday. Last session was a little bit of like a rush of combat, followed by some planning and discussions between both the non-combat students and the combat students of the first year. People going off to do investigations, looking into the region, finding out what they can. I think you guys planned to go to a racetrack next weekend, and you guys are also heading to an auction this Sunday, having been invited by Berinian as supposedly the angelic blade that has gone missing from Caliban's family will be there as an item up for sale. I believe at the moment the plan is Caliban has been working on a forgery that might still need a little bit of work, but it's like mostly there. And you guys are going to actually sell that and then maybe use the proceeds to attempt to purchase the weapon. That is what I think is going to what the general plan is. Maybe it changes and you guys try and swipe it. I don't know. But I believe in a general sense that's sort of like roughly what was discussed as to what was going to go on. We found it was a Sir Mance who's holding it. That's roughly sort of what happened last session. As of right now, Dafer is at the church teaching Fiona, as she said in the chat. Is there anyone for anything more that they want to do on their Saturday? Adhira, you mentioned going to the workshop to do with the gluttony core from the shotgun that you guys handed in ages ago. Is that where you want to go?
I did think that. I mean, as you're saying, this plan is being passed around to go to the auction house. I think I'm going to move that up to Sunday morning. Instead, I'm going to go to the museum with my bracers that I got from the underground city.
Uh-huh. Is the plan to sell them to the museum? Is that the...
arrange a permanent sale so that I can get a large amount of money to possibly help in getting the sword, should it come to that.
Do you want to go alone, or is there someone who wants to come with you, Adhira? I don't know if you'd float that to everyone.
I'll float it to Clara, because Clara is very usually good at the bargaining stuff, and she can sort of be a support if I don't do too well.
Question, like timeline-wise, basically you went to Zeta, you came back, and then you talked to Clara?
Yeah, Zeta was a very early morning thing.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't have any other plans, so I will, I suppose, go and be helpful with my words.
Alright, so you two head off to the Sage District. Uther, anything from you in particular?
A lot. I'm just trying to figure out how much is feasibly to do. And because I've got to talk to Kyle.
Yeah.
Need to start looking into the airship. Need to do 2 or 3 other things. Airship will probably be research. Will probably be next.
Okay, so are you heading to the library? Do you want to go to the Sage District as well, to the like Crystalm panel that they have there with the like more digitized library. Where do you want to go, Uther?
I think I'm gonna try it to start with just like the school library and
Okay.
work my way out.
And you're looking into the airship to do with the away mission, right? If I remember correctly.
Yes.
Yeah, Starlight Brave, I believe, off the top of my head. Okay. And then Caliban, are you working on the double for the blade, or is there something else that's caught your attention?
I am working on the double,
Okay.
or at least trying to help collaborate with it.
Okay. All right. Now I know where you guys are. Caliban, where would you? I assume that if you were working on a forgery, you would do so in like the little workshop in your bedroom, or are you doing it in like the space that is still in the dormitory? Like, where would you do something like this, Caliban?
Probably in a more private place. Like, he understands that this is only private to keep like from the public eye of like Bahanir, but he feels like he really can't take any chances.
Yeah, it is absolutely still an illegal act, I imagined, is probably the... I think we find you in your room. You've got your desk sort of cleared off. Various tools and bits and pieces arranged around you. The false version of the weapon on this little like standing pedestal type thing, so it's horizontal in front of you, and at present attempting to like basically get the sheen right on the metal, because it being this iron dragon bone, it has an almost like dusty chromeness to it. There is a knock on the door, and you do hear Mistel's voice. Says, Caliban, are you free?
I'll be right there. Sort of like covers it up for a second, just in case.
Opening the...
And...
yeah, assume opening the door.
Yeah.
She kind of looks over her shoulder as well, but there's no one there, and says, well, I've come in. Like to take a look at something.
What's up?
She draws the real blade from her waist and says, with things coming up, I thought maybe we could take a look at them side by side, see if there's anything that stands out.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Close the door real quick.
Yeah, close the door behind her. She walks forward and pulling like the blanket off from over the top of it, Caliban. She leans over, takes a look at it, and holds the two swords next to one another. Caliban, either give me an investigation or a perception check with advantage.
Investigation, like
Yeah.
either one with advantage or just one with advantage?
Yeah, so you can roll either, but either that you roll will have advantage.
Okay. Just gonna go with investigation. It feels like it's a lot more. It's a
Looking over it piece by... yeah, absolutely makes sense to me. 11. You wouldn't say it's perfect, Caliban. Yet they are right next to each other, right? Like, you can see that in certain places the metal of Mistel's blade is... it's like tapered to a nearly impossible fine point at one end of the blade, and it's the kind of thing that like the weapon Mistel has probably wasn't really forged. It was like shaped by enchantment almost, you know, like a series of people casting a spell in order to extrude the metal outwards. That said, along the length of the blade, the way that you've polished it, it's mimicked the way that the metal would have stretched. So it's got some of the hallmarks of this, like, enchanted blade being extended out through magic. There's almost like stretch marks throughout the metal, almost, to be a good way of describing it. You do notice a couple of small, like, marks on the underside of the basket hilt that you can add in, Caliban. Otherwise, the major difference is when laying a hand on Mistel's blade, there is a certain feeling of enchantment that comes from it that doesn't come from the like, physical model that you've created, Caliban.
So if a person was to hold like one and then the other, they would definitely be
Yeah,
able to feel a
absolutely.
difference.
It would be like turning the key of an engine and hearing like an electric vehicle start up with yours, versus like with Mistel's it'd be like a diesel engine turning over. There's like a lot more like, I don't know how to put it, like oomph behind the blade when you hold Mistel's weapon.
All right.
Mistel.
So
Yeah, go on.
I'm starting to feel like this is the sword will have to be Mistel's sword will have to be kept like away entirely and might have to actually just be used as a base of reference instead.
Yeah, so you basically don't want her sword anywhere near a situation where it could be compared, is what you're definitely realizing in this moment, Caliban.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like one more thing to add is like maybe the sword is embaric in nature, right?
Technically, no, it's not. It's Dragonbone. So it's Iron Dragonbone.
Mm.
But you're not wrong in thinking that it mimics some of those properties, because it does channel lightning.
I'm basically gonna see if I can run like an idea with Mistel to see if like the effects of how it feels when it's held can be mimicked.
Yeah, absolutely. Bringing up the idea of ambar being used to sort of like try and get some of that feeling. Give me an Arcana check with advantage, Caliban. 19. Mistel basically never goes anywhere without different sized chunks of ambar on her person. The two of you sit down and basically using the technique created by Dylan for like whittling down these ambar pieces, Caliban, you're able to insert a perfectly sized section of ambar into the hilt and recap it. That when you hold it, it's not one-to-one, Caliban, but you'd need to be holding both at the exact same time to tell, right? Like, it's so close now, Caliban. Like, the feeling of holding the blade, that thrum of electricity that can move through it. It can kind of replicate its abilities in, like, a single use, whereas Mistel's blade you could keep firing off lightning with. This thing would be tapped after a single go. But still, like, it pretty much functions the same once.
I was suspecting that this was going to be the case. I'm thinking, for safety's sake, is there possible, like, if people want like multiple demonstrations in case, is it possible to maybe fit in like 2 more uses?
Give me an Arcana, just a straight check at this point, Caliban.
Mm-hmm.
8.
Damn.
The chunk that you put in the handle was pretty big. In order for you to get it anywhere else on the blade, you're talking about it being on show somewhere, or you'd have to try and hide it with like an illusion type magic or something. And it's the kind of thing that if they do a detect magic on this weapon that seems very likely to you, Caliban, an illusion would show up, and that's going to trigger someone's concern. Mistle looks at you, Caliban, and says, "What's up? You look worried. As far as I can tell, it's a pretty good replica."
So, my problem is that so far the Embark Shard used to replicate the feeling of holding it can only be used once, as far as I can tell. And for the showing, I could suspect that they're gonna demonstrate it, well, more than once. At least with Bahanir wanting to see it in use, and then with maybe whoever he wants to deal it to be demonstrated again.
She furrows her brow and sits back and says, "What if the demonstration was done by one of your bodyguards? Like Dafer or Uther? Do you think they'd allow that?"
What do you mean?
Well, Dafer has a lot of experience using Ambar. Maybe if he had one of those plates on him, he could, sort of fake it in a sense. Just send a charge through the blade. Without someone noticing, at least.
That could work. Maybe I can consult either of them after, see if they can... If there's a way to... just to have a redundancy in place to make sure that there's... He's just like thinking to himself, like...
It'll definitely work
be
for showing Bahnir. There's no way he's going to be able to figure out that Dafer is putting an electric charge through the blade. And I doubt he's going to want to, do it himself. I think the hard part will be when you get to the auction. If they do want a demonstration of it, trying to convince them that it would be safer or too dangerous for someone other than someone trained with it to use it. I don't know.
That's a good idea. I'll probably have to talk with him later. But, well, looks like we're not going to have to withdraw the sword from you after all.
I'm just glad it all seems to be working out.
Caliban picks up the fake sword, just testing, could it in theory double as an actual feasible sword?
Give me an athletics check, Caliban.
Athletics.
Ready? Swinging the blade around, you're a very experienced swords person. Holding this weapon, you would say it seems a little light. It's decently enough balanced, but you've just put something in the handle that's made it ever so slightly, leaning towards you, so the blade tip wants to, go up slightly when you hold it at a neutral position. It would hold up to being swung and, impacting something. If someone wanted to stab a target to test it, it's not gonna, just snap. It's actually made of metal, right, Caliban? You think that, yeah, for a while this would hold up. You could maybe have a few duels with it. After a while, the fact that it's not a properly, fully put together blade, it would start to show some wear and tear, but it would take a bit.
And this is supposed to be something that's maybe supposed to be an artifact at the very least, so it's not meant to be used.
Yeah, I mean, as far as people... Well, it depends on people's understanding of it. Dragon bone is a very sturdy material. But a lot of people who are rich enough to buy this might not know that, Caliban. That's kind of where you're sort of at right now. It isn't... You were never going to create, a perfect replica of, you know, an actual dragon bone iron dragon weapon. But what you have is good enough to hold up to inspection, at least.
Fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, I'll have to talk to Daver about it later.
Still
But
not.
for now, I am gonna see if I can find like a feasible casing. Like if it's gonna be something that's gonna be delivered as sort of like a something for someone wealthy.
You want to go shopping? I'm sure there must be somewhere out there that we can buy a nice enough box for it.
You know, Bazette's like the casing from Fate.
Mm-hmm.
Like the long cylindrical casing that keeps like the metal balls.
Yeah, so, yeah, and you would be able to, like, create a hole for the blade to go into, and then the basket hilt would, like, sit in there, and you could just put a cap on that, right? Like, it would just be, like, a perfect mold to the blade, basically. Something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Mr. kind of looks at you and says, I do know a place that does court fencing blades. I'm sure you do as well, but we could head there.
Sure thing.
Let's go.
All right.
I'll leave the real one here. We may as well just take the one you made.
Alrighty.
And you swap the blades. You take the false one out, and she puts the real one in the holder and puts the blanket over it, and the two of you leave. Uther, finding yourself in the academy library, looking around, there are these, like, sections that are, you know, those, oh god, I can't remember what they're called. It's like a projector storage of newspapers where you can, like, go from page to page.
Yeah.
So you could look for newspaper articles about the ship. You could try and look up what kind of design the ship is, and that might tell you some stuff about it. I'm not sure where Uther wants to start. Like, is he looking for information about the accolades of the captain and the airship, or are you more interested in the capabilities and design features of the vehicle?
We had the name of the captain, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, it's in the document for sure, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I guess I would start trying to look up the captain and working my way out from there.
Give me an investigation check with advantage.
Investigation. 28.
28. Very nice. Oh, natural 20 as well. You find some articles about Captain Kaminsky. This is someone who actually only recently took over command of the airship. Up until this point, Kaminsky's been serving on state-of-the-art fractal versions of airships, so like the latest generation airship, but working as like essentially like bridge crew, like someone who would be operating the terminals either for piloting or for like the gunnery panel or something like that, if you see what I mean, Uther, like not in command of the ship itself.
Okay, that kind of resolves a question I was having in my head on if this was a promotion or a demotion.
It is a bit of a funny one, though, on a 28. The fact that they've been made a captain, but this is an airship that is kind of a glorified, like, gunship. It's very small compared to imagine a fractal ship could have a crew of up to 100. The airship he's working in, it would struggle to fit 5 people in it, Uther.
Would this okay, so could this be viewed as a training wheels position before moving him somewhere else, or is this more of a
what you
someone
get
doesn't like him?
Is the impression that they want it to look like it's a training wheels position. This is like, we're giving you a captaincy and we're going to make it look like you're being given this as like a test run, but actually they've probably annoyed someone in a position of power, and the commission they've been given is very much secretly a punishment. As far as you can see from the accolades of the articles you're looking for, this guy was like on a very quick trajectory upwards. Having been from Dulukop, moved to the city, joined the Peacekeepers, within 2 years, already working on bridge crews of these state-of-the-art ships, when normally it takes about 10 years to get to that kind of position. And then all of a sudden, articles cut off after put in command of the Starlight Brave about a year ago, Uther. It just like, nothing more comes up about him in the newspaper after that, really.
Well, now I'm curious.
Unfortunately, even on a natural 20, as you're looking through, it's almost like the newspapers were told to stop using his name, and all the only thing that ever happens is like Starlight Brave involved in reconnaissance work for X mission, Y mission. Like it goes from like Captain Kaminsky to Starlight Brave every single time.
I know this is not relevant, but now I'm curious. I'm going to start going back in the articles and try to find the incident.
Give me another investigation check. This one's a straight investigation check.
Yeah.
26. Looking through the documents, you find a familiar entity pop up, and that's what catches your eye. Crimson Hawk Moth involved in confrontation with Peacekeeper forces. Kaminsky was on board a fractal airship that was apparently engaged with this entity. His movement from his position on that airship to being captaincy was 2 weeks after that.
Just keep coming up. I'll make a note of that in the notes on this guy that I will share with the others, and I will just keep researching the ship, what the ship seems to be able to do, and the guy captaining it.
I think looking through all these articles, because it would be like loading the newspaper, flicking through every page to check for it, like, because you can't just like hot search for like the term. You're actually having to like pull up every day's newspaper one at a time. That probably would have taken you the rest of the like evening, Uther. It'd be quite late by the time you were done with that little bit of investigation that you were doing there. As yeah, there's no real index for that kind of information. It's purely nose to the grind for you, Uther, for the last few hours.
I don't want the machine that scans my brain in my brain.
Adira, were you going back to the same museum that you were at before? I assume so. That okay. And is this a bracelet that you already promised to, like, loan out to them for a certain amount, or is this a new piece altogether? I apologize, I can't remember.
This is the same one that I promised to loan out.
Okay, but now you're saying what you want to do is give it to them permanently. How much would they be willing to part with to do so? Is that the...
Correct. I think they already had a successful showing of it.
Yes, yeah, there already have been displays of it. Oh, this might be the Stone Rose Museum. I thought we were going to the Sage District, but you are right that that was in the Stone Rose area to begin with. But that's fine. You can head there. I need to think.
I mean, I can quote you what they told me.
Yeah, you can tell me.
Obviously,
that was the quote for. Was the quote for the giving it over, or was the quote for the purchase of it? That's what I can't remember.
The quote was for giving it over.
Okay. What was the amount they told you?
20,000.
20,000 makes sense.
Both of them, yeah. Both.
Looking at them, the individual will say, our museum has recently made some additional purchases of other artifacts. The price we gave you was very fair, but the position I find myself in is one that I don't think I can quite offer that amount. Perhaps we could agree to 15,000?
15,000 works wonderfully.
I rather don't think it does.
The man blinks and looks over at you, Clara. Says, "Oh."
I will take a step back and let Clara.
Clara, what do you want to do in this moment? Is the idea to just try and haggle up, or?
Oh yeah.
Is there anything in particular you'd like to do here? Is it like just we want more, or is there a particular tact that Clara wants to take with it?
I would like to see how he replies to me first. The Tim and the
Gotcha.
Which of my potential methods I go down?
It looks at you and says, I really do apologize, but it is all that I have on hand at the moment.
Oh, I'm dreadfully sorry. Has your sponsors pulled out?
Well, no, but there is a certain limit to the amount they had given me for this month, and I've already made certain purchases already of other artifacts, you see.
I see. I'd rather wish they'd contacted us, given that they knew we had these artifacts. You already have the other from our collection, and, well, my writings are here to detail exactly where they came from. I think it would be a real shame if this ended up at a museum somewhere outside of Empress City. You'd be without the full collection, and, well, I'm sure it's very much more difficult to haggle with seasoned businessmen than with just teenage girls.
Some part of me thinks that's a deception check, Clara. I don't know if there's anything else you would argue with, but...
I mean, it's not explicitly a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she genuinely thinks there would be other places who would probably have the budget to pay it.
That's true.
For no other reason than just to spite the city.
Clara, out of nowhere, Adhira's voice is going to softly echo through your mind as she uses the visage of the astral form. She asks, do you think we could set something up where he pays me extra next month?
You'll want to see exactly what he offers and counter first. I don't suppose we need to be paid all at once, but at the moment he seems to be using the fact that he's got 1 month's budget as a shield. If he really wants it, he'll find a way to offer more. Then we can counter with that to seem even more accommodating. Smart thinking.
I see.
You give me a persuasion check, Clara.
Sure. Persuasion. 10.
You do see a like flash of like, yeah, he says they are part of a set, and I really don't want to see them split up. Is it possible it could be put on hold for a later month? Must they be? You're looking to have them sold today?
We could potentially take some now and some in the following month when your budget renews. We would need some sort of a promissory note or something.
Of course, I would. What if I promise to pay 9,000 now and 9,000 next month? 18,000 all told.
I see. I'm gonna mentally beam back to Atira. Did they said 15 for just this one right at the start, right?
Right.
Great, we've successfully haggled up. I'd be a little bit nervous about pushing my luck any further, but you've gone up by an extra 15%, something like that.
Could we do 10,000 now and 8,000 later?
I can ask. We're preparing for a rather important mission. Do you know how much of the budget you have left? Frankly, it would be of more use to us if the split was slightly uneven. Maybe just by only an extra 1,000.
Yeah, give me a persuasion check with advantage, Clara.
Sure. Oh, double. That's perception. So 19 and 19.
19, yeah. He nods and says, 10,000 now is agreeable. It still leaves me some wiggle room if anyone else comes in with something interesting. Fine. Goes over to a desk, writes up like a document, and then signs that, and then holds that over to you, Adhira, to sign the other side of. It basically just details the objects and the amounts. Yeah, cool. Folds it up. Okay. He hands you a 10,000 gold crystal card.
I will take it. Have I seen them come in gold before? Just.
Well, I think it wouldn't actually be like solid gold that you're looking at. It's more like you can tell how much is in there because there's like a soft glow from the card, because there's enough energy stored in there that like dictates the information of the 10,000 number stored on it. So it would glow slightly in a purple hue, but yeah, it's just 10,000 gold on the card.
That is a very important note for tomorrow.
While we're here,
of course,
this operation we're going on, it's taking us to a castle in Dulakops that's been overrun currently.
Mm-hmm.
If there are any artifacts that we happen to find while we're there, are those something you would be interested in?
I personally, at the museum, we don't have a display for that region yet. I do have a friend who is a personal collector that might be interested. I can guarantee you a good person if...
Wonderful. I wouldn't make any promises to them yet. I don't know what we might find. But if I do find anything I think might be of interest, we'll make sure it gets back safely and we can get your appraisal on it then.
Always happy to look at an artifact, even if I don't get to purchase it. Just to see and to touch a piece of history is always worth even giving some sort of service and appraisal.
Of course. I'm glad we could keep doing business.
gives you a like polite bow. So you heading out?
Yes.
Clara's gonna like walk out with Adira. Hey, since when are you telepathic?
Since the mission. After beating the Scourge beast, I've felt more of a connection with Terminus.
And Terminus is the one with all of the brain power.
There is a rattle from the little lantern at Adira's waist that sounds surprisingly like laughter.
Just for future reference, you might want to warn the others. I fear if you may have tried that on, I don't know. Well, Uther's a bit of a wild card, but one of the others, it only didn't catch me so off guard because I'm used to it with Cerberus.
I'll make sure to warn Dather.
Because otherwise you run into that thing where someone hears a voice and then they reply out loud, and it ruins the whole point.
I used to do that all the time when I first was talking with Terminus.
See, this is what I mean. Just a heads up, girlfriend.
Hey bestie, I'm telepathic now.
But Adira
Oh my god, slay!
holds up the card, admiring its soft glow. Very restrained, giddy look on her face.
Don't spend it all at once.
I don't plan to. Hopefully we won't have to use it to buy the sword tonight, or tomorrow.
I trust that Caliban will make a decent forgery. It's horrible to say, because I don't want it to happen, but in the very worst case, Mistel didn't seem overly upset about actually losing the real thing, but I still would feel awful if she actually put it on the line and we lost it.
I think she'd do. I'm gonna say this in the best way possible, and don't take it as any motive to try and use her from me. I'm starting to get the sense that she would do anything for us.
She'd do a lot for him. And I think me, but not to the same degree. I get the sense that she's never had friends. And I know what it's like to grow up in one of those noble families. I'm just lucky enough that I had my brothers, and I had Connor, and Dad was cool, and he wasn't stuck up and decided my entire life from the second I was born. Not all people are that lucky.
Even I had a few boys and girls and a few people I knew when I was young and I was on the streets. But the little tiny bits I hear about her mother is a bit off-putting, is the best word I can use.
From what I can tell, the assembly seems quite competitive. And I think a lot of emphasis is placed on it. Since it's not really supposed to go to her, I think she probably just feels a little bit out of the lurch and always has. Like the spare part, the backup child. I don't know. I wouldn't ask. It seems inappropriate to pry into something that personal without, reason. But I'm just glad that I misjudged her. Or maybe I didn't. Maybe she's just genuinely changed as a person. But I don't know. I wouldn't have expected to become friends with her in the way that I have.
I think her walls are coming down a little.
You next.
Anyways, let's get back and start thinking about preparations. We don't want to let her down.
Deflection. I see. Clever. Come on.
I think Adira has changed because she's thinking about buying that sword tomorrow instead of buying a 10,000 gold croissant right now. I think start of campaign Adira would have bought a 10,000 gold croissant within a heartbeat.
Yeah. I think with this money, if there isn't like some big spell or equipment I can invest in, I might start funding Vera.
Interesting.
I love how to the question, don't or to the command, don't spend it all at once. It would be Adira that would have said no, while other party members like Dafer, or I wouldn't even be sure on Caliban, would have been like, what do you mean? I already have
This
it
is lunch
planned
money
out
for
on how to
Caliban.
spend this.
Oh, and Vera is taking me clubbing next weekend.
Yes, that is right. Not this weekend,
cool.
next.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Dafer, having had the cooking club come with you and like deliver a bunch of food, so there's actually a number of Empress City students here in the church right now. Some of them, you're the only combat student, I believe. Everyone else is non-combat. But that actually puts like a solid amount of technical knowledge here in the church. You see different people having conversations with them throughout the church. There seems to be, as much as, you're here teaching rune stitching, there is some exchange of knowledge going on sort of all over the shop, with some people complaining about simple stuff like their plumbing not working, and a few of the engineering students are like, oh yeah, I know fluid dynamics. They like start talking about how to like fix the piping and things like that. So you can hear some of that over the hum of conversation, the sound of children playing. But obviously right in front of you right now, you have Fiona, you have one of these circles with the embroidery, like, I don't know what that's called, but where it like stretches the fabric thin. It's kind of like a tambourine type piece of wood that holds it all in place. And give me an Arcana check with advantage, Dafer.
I'm so very thankful that you're making me roll Arcana instead of Dexterity or something like
Sleight
that.
of hand, yeah. 20? You look up from what you're doing right now, Dafer, because you've been doing a lot of like, I'll stitch and then you watch and then, you try and repeat and follow right now. This is just called an embroidery frame, thank you.
Yeah.
You look up and you see that children, as they are, plasticity of learning, once she's kind of gotten this hand motion down, you can tell that, she's got some adroitness in her fingers that you kind of don't have, Dafer, to be honest. Like, you're used to working with metals. There's like a natural rigidity that comes to your frame when you're trying to design and create something that just comes from thousands of hours of muscle memory, right? That she doesn't have. There's no bad habits for her to unlearn, only good habits for her to pick up that you're able to read and regurgitate to her. You see that once she's got the pattern of motion down, she's able to quite quickly stitch a design in here, to the point where, looking at the difference between, weeks ago when you first started teaching the very beginning of this, she's able to create one of these designs in the time period that you visit now. And she can do one in like a couple of hours that used to take like 2 weeks to sort of put in one of these designs. But you see that there's this, give me an insight check.
Insight.
Yeah.
11.
You're looking up, you've got yours in hand, you're kind of looking over the top of the embroidery frame at her. You can see that she's almost in her own little world. There's a small smile on her face. and she's like, she's looking at what she's doing, but she's more looking through what she's doing. Her mind is sort of like elsewhere, in a like pseudo meditative state, right? Like in that flow state where you're just doing something and there's something else that sort of takes over and lets you go somewhere else. In this moment, you see a little girl who is just kind of happy and has escaped. She's just sort of like not thinking. She's just sort of content and busy. I don't know if you want to do anything, Dave, or whether you just want to let her be.
I think for a solid moment, Dafer holds like stops it within him and just looks at her. Like his heart breaks a little because he knows that feeling. It's one he himself had when he first discovered like rune working with metals, and this entire you don't have to worry about your circumstances or the stuff that might come tomorrow, the unsavory things that might work around the edge tomorrow. You're just in that moment. Like it breaks his heart a little that she also has that, but he's also happy for her that she does.
I know what you mean.
Like
it's sort of like a bittersweet that it has to be there, but it's good that she yeah, it's like bittersweet is the best thing I can think of.
Yeah. It's a sweetness in like the sea of bitter, and like that makes him hold still for a moment, and then he like takes a look around, seeing how like the students exchange with other members here in the cathedral, looking if like maybe he can like do any of them look like they're getting more engaged to the point that like he could try to recruit them to also like come with more regularly.
Well, in some sense, you know that the cooking club has kind of made this a somewhat regular activity. So you know that they'll definitely be here. Looking around, Dafer, you definitely think that, like, during the next cooking club session, if you were to bring up, hey, if after you're done delivering, I hang around and do some bits and pieces, do you want to help out? You think that, quite a few of them will probably respond favorably. There's smiles on their faces as they're talking. These are people that love problems, Dafer. That's what you're seeing, right? Is they've come here and people have problems and they're problem solvers. You've brought the people that, like, you've brought two people that have a need for each other together in this moment, and you can see that.
Dafer's definitely filing that away for later. Putting people into the let's help the community club is the secret. Let's help the community club is on his list. And after having done so with like a now more less bittersweet and more like a somewhat satisfied smile, he focuses more on his own project for Niall.
Give me a sleight of hand check.
Okay. I expected.
Apart from pricking your thumb a couple of times, which honestly, Dafer, having worked with like hot materials, I imagine the ends of your thumbs probably don't feel much anymore. It's more like occasionally you notice there's a droplet of blood at the end of your thumb than like, ow. Like you probably don't feel that whatsoever. But the design is starting to come together well. It's not completely done, but you've got the outline and the rest of it needs to be like stitched over in order to, like, for want of a better term, like color it in. as the day is stretching on and you and Fiona kind of just are next to each other in your own thing together, you eventually look up to realize that like a few of the other students have left, and there's only a couple more hanging around that are beginning to like collect up the Tupperware that stuff was brought in and things like that, and time has just sort of melted away. Fiona says, going good?
I'm happy to show her my failings so that she can be more proud of her own good work later, like the couple pinpricks I have. Yeah, I definitely need to get a little bit better with the needle, but getting somewhere. I have the basics done. How are you?
She nods and says, she opens up a book for you at this point, and peels through pages forward, and there's a section of the book which has a diagram of the rune that she's been working on, and she she can read pretty well, Dafer, for her age, you would say, but there are some technical terms in this book that you don't know why anyone would know them unless they were in the field. And she just kind of points to each one in turn, I can't understand some of these things, but I'm copying it and I understand what it means, but I don't understand what this and this are. Dafer, give me an Arcana check if you want, or otherwise, if you want to tell her, I don't know how you'd like to approach that.
Okay. I mean, I'm happy to roll after whatever, but in general, it's just he is looking at runes and trying to understand their actual meaning better.
Well, actually, it's the paragraph above the rune that talks about the implementation and the history, and there's a couple of compound, really long technical terms at the top. That obviously she's never gonna have a hope of she can't even ask her parents what is that.
Yeah.
But if you want to try and work out exactly what they are and explain it, Arcana would be the best bet. Or if you want to tell her that it's for later, you certainly can. It's it's something that you might not even know, is what I'm trying to say, I guess.
Okay. So for my reference, there are a bunch of runes in there, and for her next project, she would still want to know some of the terms in there, so she can, for the next project, she can more easily get that. I
think what you're picking up is it's not necessary, but she's curious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely want to encourage that.
Yeah. Give me an Arcana check.
The thing. I don't think I would just want to explain it to her. That's definitely an aspect of it. I don't know what role that would be after, but what I would want to. View is how she can derive the meaning of those things herself or find them out herself. Gotcha. But while explaining this is how you can do it, and also telling her, showing her this is how you can do it, and by doing so, guide her through the steps on figuring out how to.
Yeah, give me an Arcana check.
Okay. That's that one. I'm rolling too well.
20. So, one thing you have going for you is you speak Primordial, and a lot of rune-centric language is either in Giant or Primordial. The terms you're looking at in the book are derived from Primordial words. So for you, looking at them, it's a little bit easier to work out what they mean. If she had some basic understanding of that language or Giant, it would help her quite a bit. On 20 Arcana, the terms that she's looking at basically mean that the rune doesn't play very well with other runes. it's not that it can, it's just like it's a very overpowering concept. The rune itself is basically, it means like to bind or bring things together, but in like a super vague sense that could be it could be friendship, it could be two materials clinging together. It's the concept of, it's just like bond together is basically the rune that she seems to be stitching right now, Dayfair. And when that goes next to other runes, it causes the meaning of all the runes around them to smush together, and they can become meaningless in that moment, right? Like if you have a rune for be hot and I don't know, something else, it will just kind of mush the meanings. It will bond the meanings together, and that might be a bit of a nothingness to it once it has been. So that's basically the term she's looking at. It's like how it doesn't work well together with other runes.
And like I'd ask her like to make a. Would it be possible like to make a small prototype real quick, or would that take hours?
I think that to demonstrate how it goes wrong, is that what you're trying to? Yeah, I think you could quick, because you'd just be like, oh, it's just this and any other two runes next to each other. You'd get the idea. Like, she's definitely done two runes working together, so you could show her how if she adds that, it messes it up.
Yeah. So, what this does, the rune itself is like finding things in various ways. However, have you tried before to see what happens if you use that rune and like smush it and put it next to others?
No, this is the first time I made this one.
Huh. Okay. Let's see. For reference, I made this combination before. That was on metal. I'm not entirely sure what it will do on clothing, but that, the concept, like the runes for frost, and like this one rune that I used myself, and like I show her on like one of the bangles, like where the rune of like quotation marks true strength that I used. That one here. It's on metal that typically some kind of like slightly frosty aura. Now, if I put those together here with the binding rune, like I stitch that together really quickly. You see that a kind of it turns into bound frost strength or something like that. I try to like get it to do anything, and I assume it does.
The piece of fabric that you stitched it into, when you tap it on something, it shatters into pieces. It like bound it together like ice and turned the fabric into something that just is brittle and breaks, and you watch a piece of cloth break like ice on the table.
I mean, what it definitely does is it allows you to experiment a lot more with, like, it adds the new layer of sort of interaction. So that it, I think, could be interesting. Also makes for a lot of, I don't know, breakable fabric.
You watch her like pick up another piece of the fabric, and after it shattered, it's lost contact with the rune, so it's weirdly like these chunks of fabric that almost seem like impossibly cut as she plays with them. It's like, huh. And you can see the like wheels turning of like, okay, so some of these things like don't play well together, but even when they don't, interesting things can happen. Like you can make a mistake and it's still kind of interesting. And you sort of like see this play through her head for a little bit as she's unbinding the embroidery thing. One of the other students taps her on the shoulder and says, Dayfair, we're heading out. Are you coming with?
Yeah. Jonah, do you have anything else you need from me? Otherwise, I'll be back next week.
She holds up the piece of cloth that she had been binding this bond rune on, and holds it up to you and says, "This is for you."
think for like a somewhat conspicuous moment, Dafer is kind of not shocked, but like surprised that he's like, okay, what do I do now? Thank you. I think I'm all.
And you can see that it's actually stitched around the edges, and it's kind of like a handkerchief type thing, or something for wiping oil stains off your hand. And you realize, Dafer, that in one of your pockets, every week you've been coming, you've got some of your stuff you do with rune work. You've got one of these handkerchiefs that you wipe the like oil and grease stains off your hands with, and it's very dirty in your pocket, and she's made you one to replace it.
Thank you. Like it has like the binding rune itself.
Yes, yes, it does.
And like on its own, it mostly has a symbolic meaning. Is that correct?
Give me an Arcana check, Dafer.
Okay.
Whether intentional or not, you're definitely sure, like, to her, she looked for a rune that might mean that there's, like, friendship. To her, she's taken this, in, like, her childish sort of head, she's taken this to be, like, this is like, the rune for, like, being a friend. To be bound to someone is to be friends with them. But actually, if you want to wipe something off your hands and it attaches to ink and other dirts, actually, this is a pretty good rune to put on a handkerchief if you want to clean something up, because it will take stains and, because it wants to be bound to something, it will unbind it from something else. It's not very reusable, Dafer, but it would work.
But, however, that would make these pretty much some of the best kind of kind of cleaning cloth available.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this absolutely is something that she could potentially sell.
Yes, it is, Dafer. Yeah, you definitely clock that too. But I think as you think that and look down at her, all you see is a happy, smiling child holding up a gift to you.
But it could help her so much. But also, it would soil the idea, the pain. I think Dafer just takes it as a gift and makes a mental note to like bring the topic up of like if you want some pocket money, there is a way she could do that. Maybe if they go shopping at one point, who knows? But yeah, he takes the handkerchief, and I think will do pretty fantastic. I hadn't thought of that. I might need a replacement down the line, but this will work fantastic.
She nods. And you see out the corner of your eye the other students like exiting with the empty boxes and things. One of them stood like with a foot wedged in the door, sort of like looking over her shoulder at you, waiting.
I'll be back. Have a keep working on your project. I'm looking forward to see what you've come up with next week.
You too. I hope your thing's finished. It's getting close.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. Now we. Yeah. And like still somewhat like out of order. Like still somewhat taken aback by the present. Like that. Keeps forming his heart in a very good way. He just gives her like a bright smile and walks jogs after the last remaining one that likely is already impatiently waiting.
Caliban.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
No worries.
Yeah.
Fading away from there. Caliban, purchasing a container for the weapon, I think this would be a pretty commonly asked for thing in shops like that. People who buy nice swords probably want nice things to hold their weapons in. Do you still have money left on the card you were initially given?
Oh, I have plenty.
If we say somewhere around 400 gold for the case, basically?
Yes.
Okay. Able to buy that in the store. Heading back, it's late on Saturday. The auction, Berinian wants to see the weapon sometime at noon tomorrow. The auction itself isn't till about 4 or something like that. So you guys have Sunday morning, but as of right now, it would be Saturday evening and you guys are back at the dorm together. Is there anything you want to try and squeeze in tonight, tomorrow morning, or plan for what is to come?
I wanted to see if I could talk to Dafer about the offer for the Embark stuff.
Yeah.
Dafer.
Saturday evening, I assume.
Yeah.
Hey, Caliban. You already hungry? I was planning on not making dinner for another hour.
I would like some help with something. You know about Embark stuff. Well, when we present the sword, which he sort of hefts with for emphasis, they're gonna want it to see a test of it. However, we only have enough for one charge, and I feel like we're gonna get more than one demonstration. So, I wanted to propose: would you be willing to do the demonstration with some of your own Embark stuff? So,
I mean
with the demonstration separate.
You mean the Embark shard case? Okay. Let me think. Sam, if I this, I think this would be basically using my Embark smites and trying to play off the effect from that as one from the sword.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How is this something I could teach Caliban to do? Because I think I might not have the necessary sleight of hand to sell that off really well, or is that something I would need to do because of my more experience with the Ambar?
You think if you had more time, you could definitely teach Caliban how to pass it off easily. The difficulty is going to be that, for most people that haven't used the plates much, it's going to take a moment of thought. It's not going to be intuitive. Whereas you, Dafer, you've been using these things for months now, right? And there is a degree of, when you want to channel it, it's almost like an extension of yourself at this point. It's almost effortless for you. You're right that you're not the best at selling things, but you're probably in a better position to make it look like the blade is doing this, you would think, Dafer.
I can give it a shot. This is for tomorrow. I can grab some. I can do at most 3 demonstrations. Keep that in mind. I can only fit 3 plates in there. Give me. I never had to do this. You come with me to the training range. If you're going to make me, I don't know, fake some lightning sword powers, then you're gonna have to be the judge on if I actually sell this thing.
Okay. Caliban and Dafer heading to the training room.
I'm just gonna assume that I have enough access to Embark shard, particularly with the line of Ambar that supposedly was made available. That trying this out is not gonna.
I would imagine that Dylan would have given you every week probably a case of them or something. You've probably got a section in your room where you can open it up and pull out a few plates. a backlog of like 12 or so or something like that. Caliban, give me either insight or perception on Dafer with this weapon. And Dafer, I think this would be a straight Arcana check. Again.
Okay.
Which one? Caliban, what you're not... The demonstration is fine in terms of, like, lightning channels through the blade. It looks like lightning is channeled through the sword. What you're noticing is Dafer holds this rapier like it's like a club in it. Like he doesn't know how to use an elegant weapon like this, Caliban. And there's something about the demonstration that just feels artificial just because Dafer seems so unnatural with that weapon in his hand.
You can't help but... Yeah. Caliban is
Dude,
also
I never... Look, my weapons... My fists are my weapons. What do you mean I have to wield a sword? I have never done that.
Think of the tip of the blade as another one of your fists.
But I'm
That's
already wielding it
diabolical.
like a hammer.
You
You do swish, swish, but like with impact, that's what I'm doing.
Look, let me guide. Okay, let me guide you. Okay, can I roll a performance?
Yes, absolutely.
And Caliban.
I want to see if like
Quick.
Caliban knows how to like teach somebody.
Yeah, go for it. Caliban, I'll ask you this question. Are you taking the sword and demonstrating it? Or are you doing the, like, let me teach you Paul thing, putting your arm around Dafer's waist and your hand on his hand, and, like, taking him through the motion in this dojo right now?
It's like, hey, it takes two to tango.
How many does it take to swing a sword?
Apparently,
We're about to find out.
Dafer, give me a sleight of hand check with advantage.
You sure I'm not supposed to roll a wisdom check first?
Roll a wisdom save for
What to not fall in love,
my
Dafer?
God.
Dafer,
This.
Caliban is unfortunately very talented at a great many things, and right now, as you're holding this blade with his arm around your waist, keeping your posture high, and his hand on yours, you begin to understand the basics of how to wield this weapon. And that comment he made earlier about think of the end of, like, the tip of this blade as another fist somehow starts to make sense to you. And as you hold this weapon, you're like, oh, it's like boxing, but I've got another foot of, like, distance. And it's... and you're like, I can't throw hooks or crosses. All I can do is jab. And, like, as you're moving the blade, you're like, I think I'm starting to get this.
The most important question that I have for you, Sam, is obviously how sensual is this experience?
I think that's a deeply personal question between the two of you. I don't think I can dictate that to you as the DM.
I think you can and you should.
You're in love! No, I think, though, with that natural 20-day fair and Caliban's coaching, by the end of, like, by no means do you know how to use this weapon, Dafer, but it doesn't look completely out of place in your hand.
See, you get it now.
Get it is a strong word, but it I don't like. Swords are weird. They hit things at more of a distance. I don't know. The spacing is all wrong, but
Don't worry, I think you look out of place with it too.
Thank you for that compliment. I really needed that right now. Yeah, but if I concentrate, I just need to replicate the motions we just did. Like I can I can recall how that works. Like he does the when you guided me through the motions with like recalling the how it felt and so on. I can do like I assume a pretty decent recollection of the exact movements we made.
Especially with your memory, Dafer. So yes,
yeah.
I would say so.
Okay, my turn.
Hi.
Now teach me how to fake an embark, Smite.
Yeah, I mean, you two can like try and learn that with the time you've got. I think.
Okay. I mean the.
Atira, Clara, you guys are like sat in the dormitory somewhere, and Verity like just looks down and is like, that's weird. I got a nosebleed. And she like wipes the underside of her nose off with the back of her hand. Must be dry.
No.
I mean, David would be like taking off like the Umbarek smite from one of his weapons and like having get up close to Caliban like to attach it to wherever it attaches on him for how he wants to channel it. I'd be like, so like the core problem for you is most likely going to be that it'll take you half second to channel it correctly, like to get control over where that stuff is going, which what's gonna make it look rough. But if you focus enough,
Well, I'm selling a fake I'm selling a fake dragonbone sword, and that I presumably found and or collected from somewhere. So obviously, I'm not going to be proficient in it.
Either way you want to learn, you get to learn. Keep in mind, this is lightning we're talking about. It's going to try to go everywhere. You want it to go in a specific direction. Find a path for it, cut off all the other paths that it wants to go through, and direct it that way.
Dafer, give me a performance check.
Performance, you say?
11's...
Oh, that is better than this deserves.
11 is good enough. Caliban, either a charisma or an intelligence check. That's a save. Do you have a +2 to? Is it the same either way?
It's the same either way.
Okay, cool. It takes a while because the first two bolts that you put out, Caliban, as Dafer said, it first like goes from the broken plate, jumps to the hilt of the blade, and then is channeled out. There's this like moment of the power leaving its actual source. Whereas when Dafer does it, the lightning almost seems to like channel immediately through the blade as if it's jumping that first step. It's replicating that takes a while for you to like start getting to, and by the time you think you're starting to get the hang of it, Caliban, it's getting to the point where you guys are like, we need some of these Ambaric plates for tomorrow, right? Like it takes a little bit longer for you to learn this skill, Caliban, than it does for like Dafer to hold a blade correctly for like a little bit, basically. But you start to learn at least, Caliban.
Gotcha.
Anyone else? Obviously, Dafer and Caliban disappear to the dojo together. Does anyone have anything they want to do Saturday evening?
I'm fine to just relax after the day I had.
Okay. Uther?
Yeah, I'm good.
Hunt down Kyle.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Get information to make Dafer and myself not stick out as bad.
Heading over to the year 1 dorms. I assume knocking on the front door. I don't know if you just want to walk in. You probably could, but
No, knock. I don't live in here.
yeah. After a little bit, True opens the door, tilts her head, looks at you, and says, "Uther, what's up? What's going on?"
Hunting Kyle, have a question.
Yep.
How are you?
Me? Fine. Yeah. Excited. Busy.
Yeah. busy is the word of the week.
Before you finish the sentence, they've left to go find, like, they just, like, not out of rudeness, but, like, they didn't expect you to reply, and, like, had begun to walk, but, like, and then, like, you hear the voice from somewhere off in the distance as they're deeper in the building. Not long...
Following after.
Yeah, slipping inside, you see Andrus in the kitchen along with Casper, and the two of them seem to be, like, drinking a cup of tea together. They've got a crystal pad in front of them that isn't, like, their personal school, like, ID one that you guys use to communicate on, but is still, like, one from one of the classrooms that might have lesson information or something on it, and you can see them, like, swiping through bits and pieces. Casper. They look up and sort of, like, give you a how do you do sort of nod. I think Andrus would say, oh, you find anything on that airship?
Pilot, the captain looks like he's been shelved, so to speak.
The two of them look at each other, and Casper says, it's a little interesting. I don't know what it says about them as an individual, but it is interesting.
It looks like something happened involving the Hawk Moth, and they promoted it, and does the air quotes, promoted him, and basically scrubbed his name going forward.
You see
if that helps us or not, but
Andrew is surprised and like goes deep into thinking. But Casper continues the conversation with you. Says, honestly, kind of makes me curious to ask him what happened. Not that he probably wants to talk about it, or even if he could.
I don't even know if we're going to have time to have a casual conversation with him, because...
Well, he's linked to a codex. That codex is in the workshop. It should work across any distance. Technically, anyone who holds it can communicate with them telepathically. It's just that the workshop students have it right now.
Probably best to make small talk before.
Yeah.
Hey, how did you throw your career away?
Carl comes walking out in, like, what looks to be like his pajamas. It looks like he's an early sleeper, Uther, with the lights going down. You know, scratches the back of his head, looks at you, Uther, and says, "Yeah, what's up?"
I have some questions about some protocols for security work in the city. I'm being dragged into a harebrained scheme, and I need to play the part. And I know how I would do it, but I want to know how you would do it.
He looks around and says, "Go in my room." He, like, swivels on a foot and, like, heads in.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow him in.
Closes the door behind you. He's got all sorts of, like, little things that he's tinkering on around, and you see, like, hung up crystal tools. You also see that there is, like, a little crystal generator in the corner for creating energy, along with, like, several bags of just, like, crystal powder that can be poured into it. It's the kind of thing that normally would be used for, like, running the lights in a building or something like that. He just kind of has it in the corner of his bedroom, vaguely covered with, like, a blanket, in the same way that Caliban is covering up that phony sword with a blanket, like, just like, no one can see it, just kind of, like, throwing a piece of tarp over it.
Okay, I know this is not the topic. Why are you pretending there's not a generator in the corner of the room?
He thinks for a moment and says, "Why are you asking me about security work?"
Because my team are fascinating individuals with amazing skill sets, and they overcomplicate the living fuck out of everything.
So what, someone wants to kill one of them and you want to work as a bodyguard?
No, I'm technically not, but yes, already doing that. That's not the point.
I mean, I can talk about protocol. Oh, go ahead.
Caliban's going to an event. It's a fancy auction. He is going to be not selling, just air quotes, an artifact, and as justification to have the whole team there in case things go very poorly, Dafer and I are security guards hired by the Von Halen estate. I guess is the cover we're going with.
Stops for a moment, thinks, and says, since we're having this conversation, I assume that you've registered as a bodyguard with the embassy and I too, of course.
Uther stops, like tilts, thinks really hard on that one.
Eyes locked with yours the whole time, Uther.
I legitimately do not know if that would have been something that Uther would have considered doing at all.
I also don't have an answer to this question. Uther, you could have, or it's something you didn't know you need to do. It's not something you would have had to do in Dulukop, that's for sure. So this might...
Say I need to rush to order that paperwork. How long of a process are we talking here?
Well, being from the Laments, it took me 3 weeks. Being as you're from Dulukop, your ambassador is decidedly better liked here in the city. Thanks for a moment. How likely do you think things are to run into trouble for you? You know, how likely are things to come to blows?
For me?
Well,
Me?
I mean, for the group of
Hopefully
you. Not at all.
No, for the group. It's Caliban. Caliban's locals involved. Our luck is fucking atrocious. I'll go and I'll see about paperwork in the morning, bright and early.
He thinks for a second and says, your Crystal tablet, you cracked it, right? In order to have whatever, whatever you want on it?
You can do that?
Yeah.
Uther has not done that. I know Dafer did, but Uther himself is like not even aware that it's a thing you can do. I don't think.
He holds out his hand and says, "If you want, I can." Let's just say I would find your Crystal tablet a lot cooler if it was.
I'll hand it over. I don't think Uther has anything incriminating on his.
He's
mostly just uses it for class stuff and sending stuff to the group.
He sits down, messes around with it a little bit. You recognize some of what he's doing, Uther, and watching it in your head, you're like, oh, okay, so that's how. Like, it's almost like watching a tutorial as you watch him go through the steps. He pieces it all back together and says, I was going to give you Right of Shadows. Technically, as a bodyguard, I can name additional help. Considering you think there's a good chance that things might go wrong, I don't want to be responsible for that. So instead...
Understandable.
3, 2, 1, upgrade. And while he's holding your Crystal tablet, you watch the internals reconfigure, and he holds it out to you with a completely legitimate and yet entirely falsified license for you as a bodyguard.
All right, I can work with that until the paperwork clears. I assume this means I can bullshit Dafer through.
You can give Dafer right of shadow, and please do hand in the paperwork. Yeah, just the worst thing that can happen is you cause a really big stir, and that if anyone ever looks back in time at the paperwork, they'll see that you did a job around the same time your application was being processed. Normally you have to do this like test to do with combat and all that stuff, but considering I didn't have to because I was enrolled here at the academy, they took that as proof enough. Your ambassador will probably get back to you with a finalized document within days, I would imagine, Uther. So as long as no one really goes snooping, I don't think it will be a problem.
You're my hero. Thank you.
Yeah, well.
You are on the ever-growing list of people that I owe favors to.
We're all going to risk our lives together next month. I think being in each other's debt is a good way of making sure that we all come back alive.
Yep. Nope. Thank you for reminding me of the 12 other projects I have.
Oh, the upgrade lasts 24 hours, so you'll turn back into a pumpkin at midnight tomorrow.
Not my favorite gourd, but it'll work.
Beggars can't be choosers, Uther.
And I do be begging.
Get out of my room, I'm tired. And I would like to sleep.
Go to sleep.
Yeah.
Go to sleep.
You too.
You'll turn into a pumpkin. And just turns out the light as he closes the door behind you.
The tablet's permanently cracked, Dafer, but the upgrade that he did to include Uther, as you go through the upgrade, you are a licensed individual for patrolling the sewers. You're a licensed individual for getting those poisons that you had to put in there's he upgraded you with the concept of these licenses, and as you flick through your custom tablet for the next 24 hours you're kind of licensed for everything as far as you can tell. You're just
this is your hard hat and a clipboard. You can
Exactly.
go anywhere.
I've flipped through this list of certifications I've been temporarily given, going, and here I cannot know about. We gotta keep
Dafer
this
should
far
know
away
about
from her.
Don't you think?
Dafer's trustworthy. I trust Dafer. I trust Adhira too, but I also know what Adhira gets into.
Just the ability to give anyone any kind of license temporarily is very useful.
While he was cracking the tablet as well, he would have talked a little bit about what the protocol for bodyguards here are. Basically, if there's any check that needs to be made for that kind of stuff, Uther and Dafer, you guys will have advantage on acting like bodyguards because of the information he gave you. You can just sort of scroll that away. Alright. With that, I think it's quite late at this point, moving to tomorrow morning, at which point you guys have all had a long rest.
That is not worth one hit point of healing. So
Actually, strictly speaking, we had now 2 days since our fight, so we had 2 meals with temp HP buff opportunities. I'm just gonna roll. Should I just roll 6 1d4 plus 2 for everyone, or do I roll once and we all take that one?
Just give everyone the max. I'm not too fussed. Everyone can just take the maximum amount.
Everyone gets 6 temp HP. Actually, 7 temp HP. It's 1d6 plus 1d4 plus 3, not 2.
Okay, everyone gets 7 temp HP.
Back to full on my hit die.
It is Sunday morning, the morning of the auction. Berinian will be here to pick you guys up at noon. You have the morning to do as you wish to prepare what you would like, including grabbing any crystal or anything like that. Crystals if you want to change the spells you're casting. Because I think the last loadout you guys would have had was more combat-based, but maybe you want to keep that. I don't know. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna swap out Warding Bond for enhanced ability.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to go back to Pass Without Trace.
Back to Pass
I
Trace.
will also take enhanced ability, and I will take invisibility.
Okay.
And I will also make my way over to wherever the glut core is being stored.
You find the blackened lower jaw of a skull on Izzy's desk in a glass canister, and it's sort of just in there that you can unscrew and take out if you want. The teeth are exactly as black as the mandible of the jaw they're set in. It almost looks like it's petrified or carved from obsidian, but it's been confirmed to be actual porous bone, just that jet black coloration to it.
Taking it out, Adhira is going to sort of move it over and around her fingers. I'll go ahead and spend another spirit point to use Astral Visage. My eyes will turn green and grant me an enhanced insight advantage.
Yep.
And I'm just going to try and figure out how gluttony worked through this.
Give me an insight check with advantage. Eyes glaze over with the glow of Terminus's power, and as you hold this lower jaw, you begin to see almost like a hologram fading in. The rest of the skull, the top teeth start to almost like you've got your eyes blurred, and in the haze you see the shape and the orbital bone of the eyes, and then you start to see the spinal column, and the bone drips down into the proper formation. And as you hold it, you begin to see the sinew of muscle unrot from the body and grow back into place, and then pale skin. You see surgical scars around the jaw on this face. There's no hair. It's bald, but there's more scars as if the cranium had been opened up as well. And all of a sudden, you see the inside of white, almost like a white padded cell, but the walls aren't cloth. It's tile. It's clinical. And then there's this exact mismatch with the clinical clean tiles. On the table is a messily eaten banquet of food. There's chicken legs with meat and sinew still on the bone, and other piles of food that are half chewed and mushed up. A glass observation window sits on the other side, and a voice says, "How would you rate the experience?" And you hear a voice come from almost inside yourself, say, "Disturbing." And the clinical voice comes through, this intercom. "Do you feel satiated?" "Never. Not since you bonded me with this thing." "Interesting. And yet you've stopped eating. Why is that? I don't know. I just feel like something's wrong. At which point you hear a horrifying crunch. There is a spray of red across the food on the table, and your vision slips back to the exact moment you are right now.
I hastily put the jar back onto the table and think about this. Did you see that?
Terminus, who, like, at some point during that vision must have manifested on the table, is, like, sat there, nods at you, says, I saw what you saw.
This is just a shot in the dark. But I think Sin is doing more than just recruiting soldiers of fortune. I think they're making them, and those that don't pact well are harvested.
Terminus looks at the jawbone and says, that man was probably forcibly pacted, or something similar to what Zeda's going through, but with gluttony. Clearly, it didn't end well. But I guess it made it a good focus for someone who did to use their abilities. It's been touched by the spirit directly. That's why it was at the core of the gun.
I'll be honest, I came in here thinking that I could possibly find insight into whether or not you'd work this little remnant attached to our shell, but now I'm not so sure.
There's no doubt, as an artifact, it has uses. But I think we can survive without it.
She looks back down sadly at the discarded jawbone. Is there any point to burying it? Any peace to be gained?
It's hard to know what Sin did with the man's spirit once he passed. Who knows if he was allowed to move on.
What a horrid way to start the morning.
He looks at you and says, bodies are just bodies. It's horrifying to think about it, but when you're gone, the skin, the bone, the blood, nothing of you will be left in it, apart from symbolically to those who love you, of course. If I didn't believe that, then I would never teach you the things I do. And yet...
That's an interesting thought. How familiar are you with Lamshi culture?
As you know it, not at all. As I know it, quite well. We're a little bit removed in time, you and I.
Tell me what it was like that you knew. We'll see how much has changed.
Give me an insight check, Atira.
Is this guy lying to me? 10. Wait, no, yeah, it's still 10. I still have advantage, but...
He tilts his head and says... I mean... I was there for the carving of the great monuments, the building of the first underground cities. I watched as the Scourge turned what was once upon a time a beautiful river valley into a desert of remorse. The place I knew is nothing like what you knew, Atira. It's been hundreds of years. Nothing stays the same that long.
That's a sad thought.
Is it?
Yes, I could have had grass fields to play in.
Oh, well, yes, that. At the same time, there is a beauty in your home, is there not? The shifting
There
sands.
is.
Harsh, it might be, but home, it still is.
The culture I know, the little faucet that I'll speak of, when we die, we know that we will rot, we will decompose, we will return to the earth. But we've always had a fascination with preservation, holding on to something, letting it become something else, hopefully equally as beautiful as us. And thus we make our gardens. We bury ourselves with seeds and fruit in the hopes that the idea, rather, we persist through our natural beauty. Obviously, it's a bit late for him here, but maybe if I pass one day, I can be made into a pretty little garden. Things change, but a part of me will still be there.
I need another insight check from your chair.
23.
There's a look on Terminus's face that months ago you would take as a smugness, but very specifically in this moment, Adhira, there is a knowing on Terminus's face, like he knows what's gonna happen, in a I've seen it, or like a prophetic sense. There's this look of sureness on Terminus's face as you talk about maybe you'll be a garden, or what will happen when you're gone. For some reason, it looks like, as far as you can tell, Terminus already knows what will happen.
I think... Go on.
But he looks at you and says, a pretty thought. And mostly true. I mean, all we'd have to do is put you in a box under a tree and wait.
I think the moment of sort of silence stretches on, and then she says, if you have any plans of sprinkling mushrooms around me, at least make sure they're pretty and green.
Glow in the dark? You seem to like those.
Those are very pretty. Yeah, she's gonna sort of hide that glimmer of insight behind humor, just sort of keep it to herself.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put the jawbone back into the case. No reason to deprive anyone else who would like to spawn a giant mouth to eat an attack.
Terminus hops into the lantern and you head back to the group. You guys have your various crystal swap outs, it seems. Is there anything more before you head out for a meeting at noon?
Yeah, I'm getting up at the crack of dawn to get to the embassy to get paperwork in order.
Yeah, absolutely. Uther, heading into a building that you've looked at from the outside and thought, how would I break into this? A great many times. However...
And now I don't need to.
And now you don't have to. You have legitimate business.
The hard part was done by other means.
You walk in talk to someone at the front desk, and within about 20 minutes, you are called into an office with an Ambassador Lakar, Lakar. Upon entering, this is a finely dressed individual, very much from Dudukop Peak, Uther, who responds to you as you come in and says, I was actually wondering when I might see you, Uther.
Been expecting me. I'm sorry. I've been busy.
No, he opens up a drawer and pulls out a saved newspaper clipping that he puts down that is to do with the Glomide investigation that you were a part of, and says, I've been following your work quite closely.
Well, I'm glad I'm not disappointing then.
He also behind says, no, this is, I am pleased to have such good representation come from Dulukop and to be going down the path you are. I am happy that you're here to see me, and I'm interested in what you have to say. So, know that you are in my good graces, and I am open to what you have to speak about.
I need to file some paperwork to get a security license for the city. The Von Halen family has expressed a casual interest in me providing some additional
Security work?
Yes, I'm just formalizing the paperwork in case anything happens outside
Security detail.
outside of my business as a knight.
Hansen says, I assume this is a connection you made through Caliban is your classmate, correct? Caliban von Halik?
Yeah, Caliban's parents worry, so just covering some extra bases.
He is also training to be an Empress Knight, right?
I legitimately think it's more political maneuvering than anything, but
Give me a deception check,
the
Uther.
having I mean, as far as Uther's concerned, like Caliban's family wanting the party in their good graces and all that is.
I would accept persuasion, but I think deception slightly, because you are trying to obfuscate something here. He seems like a little like, why would an Empress Knight need a bodyguard? And then he's like, well, they are like, you can see in his face, like, well, they are kind of like a prissy nobility family. I could see it. And like, he nods, hands you like a piece of paper to like fill in what you want. He takes a look at it and says, normally there would be a evaluation of abilities, but he puts his hand out for your school ID card and says, I can just take the information of you being at the academy off of your Crystal tablet.
I'll give him that, let him access the combat records, I guess.
Puts it to his computer, like takes the information from it, hands it back to you. Is like flicking through it quickly. You see a brief furrow for his brows, and then he like opens up another tablet on the other side and flicks through that. Well, as I said, there won't be any problems. It'll take me a couple of days to get everything approved, but afterwards you should just see the license pop up on your Crystal tablet remotely. It'll come through the network that goes through the Crystal Spire in the middle of the city.
Try to be good in the meantime, then.
Give me a perception check, Uther. As you're standing up to leave, you watch him pull a crystal, almost like a wand out of his desk, wipe it over a section of the screen that he's looking at, and you see in the top a record of licenses that were on your tablet that he took and scanned, and you watch them disappear one at a time until they were never scanned into the network, until only your school license is there, and he tucks the wand away.
Yep. Wrong word. Yep. I'll not do that again.
But you do watch him quietly and wordlessly cover for you, Uther.
Your discretion is appreciated.
That's
And
nice.
I leave.
Door closes behind. You head out. That paperwork filed, heading back. Anyone else for that morning? No? Gathered together. Is everyone dressed up in a certain way? Like, I assume Clara and Caliban are dressed for an event?
Most certainly. Never miss a chance to dress up.
Mm-hmm.
This is just how I always look.
Aether is wearing the exact same clothes you wore for like this.
You underestimate me. I have 5 of the exact same outfits.
He's Batman.
No, I mean to the formal eating event through which I was forced to buy formal clothing.
Oh, yeah.
The only set of formal clothing.
Did I
have.
stutter?
Yeah, you have 15 sets of formal clothing. Dave has 1.
Uther, are you keeping the mask and the scarf? Like, do you want to dress differently, or are you keeping some of the identifying features that you wear?
I'll keep the mask. This will probably be like the one time you don't see Uther with the scarf. But he's kind of pulling a little bit of a Daver. He's wearing some of that like formal get up, but he's throwing like the long coat from the desert area over it.
Gotcha.
I was told that I'd be going as a servant, so I've probably gotten something like a white button up.
Okay.
Like sort of sleeves rolled up a little. I have drawn my hair back into a ponytail, hanging low, so I am looking as plain as possible.
I think this would be the tidiest you've ever seen Atira look, because I think there's a certain amount of messiness in the fashion that she wears. This is Atira prim and proper. That's prim and proper Atira can't hurt you.
I
She's not real.
Wouldn't even have the face makeup on. It'd be
like,
if anything, too, like half crescents under the eyes, some sort of downcast.
Gotcha.
Take a picture, we'll never see this again.
The Christam vehicle that Beridian has most likely hired for just today pulls up. It's one of those, like, almost like an SUV limo type thing where the inside face each other. The door opens up and Beridian's smiling face just like appears, filling as much space as possible. Big, gleaming, sparkly smile. Caliban, my boy, it's good to see you at last. Please, come in. Your entourage is more than welcome.
I guess we all just come in.
And
of course, Caliban gives a respectful bow.
He gives you like yes, nod, like yeah, courtesy and all that protocol. As you get in,
I literally just did.
He looks at you, Clara, and says, "And welcome to you as well, soon to be sister and well, what would you be, niece? Yes, niece-in-law."
It's a pleasure.
It certainly is. And I think I recognize some other faces here as well. Yes. Very good. the vehicle starts to move, and he looks at you, Caliban, with this carrying sort of like case, and says, "Is that it? Can I see?"
Sure thing. You just sort of like just carefully,
Oh,
with precise ease, just like carefully undoes the thing.
it's Bahinir, not Barinian. Bahinir takes the blade out, looks at it, and says, "It is beautiful. Truly, a remarkable artifact from your homeland. I'm surprised your people got hold of it, Clara."
There are a great many things that my people are capable of. It took a lot of work, from what I understand.
Taps the side of his nose like, very good. I see. One second. Well, it's certainly a good sword. I can feel the weight. It's been a while since I've dueled, of course, Caliban, but did always beat your father, you know. Yeah, was the better swordsman for sure. Turns
Can I make a history check?
Yeah, of course you can.
Remember? I like to imagine that he beat him just one time, and that he held that over him for as long as he could.
Barnier. Barnier was the younger brother, and you can imagine that if your dad lost, it was to make him feel better at any given point, right, Caliban? Barnier certainly displays none of the qualities of a fighter to you. He doesn't move the right way or anything like that. That doesn't seem right to you.
I'm just gonna smile and nod.
I think there's like a bump on the road, and his grip's like so bad that he almost like drops the blade in the back. He has to like put another hand underneath it, almost like cuts his own hand on the sharpened edge. He's like,
Be careful.
Yes, most certainly. Don't want to let off, some dragon's breath in here, destroy this wonderful car I paid a lot for. Slides the blade back in, caps it back on. It says, very well, very well. I will make proper introductions between lovely to be wedded couple and Sir Mance. He's a very good close friend of mine. There is another individual who will be there. Oh gosh, he reaches into his pocket and pulls out a little like personal crystal tablet, and you watch him like zoom in to the point where like someone who needs glasses, it's like size 40 text in order to read it off his screen. Yuvan Yor, from the Lichtco company, or at least he used to be. He's the one who told me about the blade being there. Says angel weapon, sword, something to do with the ruination of dynasty. The ruination of dynasty. I'm not really sure what he's referring to there, but it said ruin.
Interesting. Well, Caliban just sort of like gently pats the casing where the sword is now put in. I hope I can trust you to keep this somewhere safe.
Certainly. I didn't really want to do this in front of fiance and your friends, Caliban, but there is a certain amount of cost that has been incurred by me setting up the visitation to the auction, acquiring the information about the blade, renting of the vehicle, getting us into the building. Obviously, I am here to re-secure the blade of our family in order to restore the glory of our name. but I do still need to keep my apartment and eat, and the blade will be sold, and I feel as if a certain amount of that money might be able to at least recompense me for what I have spent on arranging the opportunity today.
How much are we looking at?
Well, I mean, obviously it depends on any leftover proceeds from the sale and then purchase of the other blade, and perhaps we could talk about a percentage amount, or maybe just, whatever is... Because obviously, Caliban, I know all you're interested is in the blade, so I mean, if there's any money left over and the difference between the two, maybe that could be mine.
I look to Clara, like, what do you believe, dear? He sort of like tries to say that with like as trying to suppress the fact that his teeth are grit.
Well, I must admit I've never heard of such a thing. Is that normal in these lands? With the whole of my heart, I believed that my family were putting up this heirloom as a gesture of good faith. I didn't realize that the money was so important to your family.
Well, no, it's not. It's not important at all. And that's why I think maybe it should just be given to me. I mean, it's not important, and I'm certainly not important in this grand story of love between our two houses. The fact that you would give this blade to restore ours, I think, is a better story, and then we also got some money. Don't you think?
Let
You know
us
what?
see how
Uncle...
able we are to negotiate first, perhaps.
She's a very shrewd bride to be. You're a lucky man, Caliban. Lucky man. As he like pats you aggressively on the shoulder, Caliban.
Caliban is like, yes, I must admit, she is a far shrewder businesswoman than I believe that either of us are. Well, second to you, of course. I must admit, I'm not all that
formidable, truly formidable.
Of course.
Anyway, we have a lot of a ride left. As he like slumps back in his seat, looking out the window at those city going past.
See, he sort of like, he stage whispers over to Bahadir, where he's like, yes, the blade is more than I'm concerned about, but we will talk, me and my fiance will discuss it, but between you and me, I think the money to you has already been decided.
He whispers to you and says, good. Just a word of warning, this, desire to take control of situations. It'd be best to talk her out of it early, Caliban.
Of course.
He nods to you as if he's given you some sage piece of advice. After another 5-10 minutes of awkward car journey, you eventually arrive in you eventually arrive on the border of the I-1 district, kind of moving slightly in towards the center. You're about 2 districts over from the... this is a nice merchant district, basically, you arrive at. Pulling onto Ruminita Road, there is a 4-story house here. Mansion is actually maybe a big term for the house you're looking at. It is certainly large, but Caliban, when you imagine mansion, you think of the sprawling estate of your home. This is, by comparison, rather compact. There is a boundary wall that runs around it. Anyone who would be keeping an eye out for the structure of the building or anything interesting about it, If you want to tell me what you're looking for, like entrances and exits or security that's visible from the outside, anything like that, please give me a perception check and let me know what it is you're looking for.
I am acting as a bodyguard, so I'll do my best to like try and cosplay as a bodyguard, looking explicitly like for entry and exit ways. Like how likely would it be for people to enter through all sorts of places that I need to take into account for accounting for dangers, etc.
Yeah, give me a perception
How
check.
likely would they be to get out? Perception.
8.
Would this technically be a role regarding his position as a bodyguard for the sake of this?
I'll give it to you. It's a little different. I was thinking about social etiquette, but you squeezed it in so quickly and with such conviction that I already said yes. So, Dafer, the boundary wall goes around the building in kind of like an L shape. From the outside, you can see that there is this main building that's 4 stories. On the roof, you can see positioned what appears to be maybe 2 guards. They are dressed in all white, long white hair that cascades down down the front over one shoulder, hood up, and a white mask on that makes them appear to be almost like alabaster-like statuettes almost that are stood up there. What draws your eye is like the way the clothes have been tightened, the mask that covers the face, the hair down one side in identical length and color. They look like identical twins, even though they're sort of mostly covered up, right? Like at a glance, they seem almost perfectly the same. That's the first thing that stands out to you is these 2 people on Overwatch. Like, literally just stood on the roof. There isn't, like, a platform up there. They're perched. And it looks like they might be clipped into the building by their waists, almost. Like, they've got some sort of, like, climbing gear or something like that on them. You can see there's a sewer access building. It's identical to the kind of thing that you guys went down when you were dealing with the slimes. So that's a municipal building that you can see, but it's inside the walls of the ground. So it's like city property, but it seems to have been walled in by the by Sir Mance, which I think stands out to you as like being like in your head you're like, that's a coding violation for sure. Like that's some sort of problematic thing. Like if municipal workers need access to the sewers here, they need to go through Sir Mance's building and ask for access. Like, that's weird. There's a big garage. And then other than that, from the outside, there isn't really another good way in other than through the garage or through the main gate. Or if you wanted to come up through the sewers, you could technically access through that sewer access building. In fact, let me drag you guys to what you would be able to see from the outside. And there is a big tall hedge labyrinth in the back that you can see as well. But that's what you can see in terms of like security and entrances and exits. There are some problems from when like I drew this by hand and then like scanned it in, but I messed up the drawing like in a couple of places, so all I've done is like put a box over that. That's not a door, that's a solid wall, and there's another thing over here, and I've just had to patch it up with the Roll20 drawing. So if you see anything like that, it's me correcting mistakes I did when I was doing the hand drawing. So yeah, that is everything you can see as you're approaching by car. Also, there's like a series of cars parked along this side here because there's nothing here and it looks like it's like function parking. So as you come along the road, the car like turns and parks itself over here on the right hand side. Bahanir kind of gets out, brushes himself down, checks his teeth in the reflection of like the car window, looks around, nods at each, says, all right, everyone, Ready? I'm gonna make a good first impression with Sir Mance, okay?
As if we make anything but.
Not that I'd imply otherwise. Mostly talking to Adelaide. You guys approach the main gate. Some security stop and ask Bahinier like what he's doing. He shows them crystal tablet. Uther, the guard here, another individual dressed very much like the person on top of the building. Same white hair, same white mask, same like bound tight belt. You can see that they have a long rifle slung over one shoulder. And they also appear to have a short sword at their waist. So they're equipped for long distance and close distance fighting. They look at you, and the voice comes through the mask, and it's lost any sort of like accent, almost like the mask is enchanted to strip away any sort of like inflection in the voice as it passes through the material, because you kind of like, you can hear the semblance of the voice that comes muffled through the hood that is unchanged, and then the artificialness of, there's like a little back echo of what they really sound like, and then the main projection of what comes through the slit opening in the mask at the front. They say, "You're the security detail for Caliban von Helig?"
I'm not. I'm going to show like the certificate on the tablet.
Looks at it.
On the ropes. He's new.
Right of Shadow.
Yes.
And they motion a hand towards Atira, looking at you like,
Please
this?
scan the QR code to confirm.
I will have Terminus's vessel held before me, like close to my stomach, as if it was like some position of honor.
Gotcha.
And I am going. Are we looking for an explanation of me?
Yeah, they seem to be like, okay, so you two are security. Who's she?
I am bound to a spirit that is aided in protecting them and searching out threats.
One of them steps forward with a crystal, holds it out as if, hey, can I identify this lantern? Looking at you.
Do I know if a base identify will reveal, like, any aspect of rot, or would it just sort of ping back as, like, yep, this thing holds a spirit, all right?
So it took having a conversation with perhaps one of the greatest scholars alive for you to figure out the exact meaning of this individual. You don't think they'd get it off of a simple identify? The staff at the academy certainly didn't, is what stands out to you, I think, Atira.
Then yes, I will calmly step forward.
You watch their eyes like glow over with purple as the information is sort of like presented to their mind. They turn, they nod to the other one, and the two of them step aside, and the group of you is allowed in. Let's see if I can do this properly. You pass into the main space and find yourself in a reception room. Two more guards within. There are quite a lot of people in here having quiet discussions. A couple of members of staff step forward. One of them with a eye patch on. The other one, like, with this tight vest with their hair swept kind of, like, over their face mostly, that covers, like, half their face. They step forward to you, Clara, and say, "May I take your coat, ma'am?"
Of course. Thank you.
They bundle up anything that you guys want to hand off to them, and they take that off into what you presume to be some sort of like cloakroom off on the right-hand side there. As that's being done, more people bring champagne to you. That if anyone would like to take some, you certainly can.
Clara will take a glass and she will pass it to Adhira. If you wouldn't mind holding this for me, and she winks slightly.
Very pointedly does not even look at it.
There is a most restrained sort of glare sent back at Clara, but Adhira will, with her other arm, hold the champagne glass.
Clara blinks at the glare and then winks harder.
Barnier looks at you, Adhira, and says, I believe your lady wants you to taste it just to check if it's poisoned or not.
Yes, for the poison, of course.
That I can do, and she will take a good sip of the champagne.
Roll me a d4, please, Adhira.
Oh god, I'm actually getting poisoned.
Better you than me.
2.
This is what I get for trying to be nice.
The champagne is enchanted, you would say, Adhira. You have a feeling of lightness that you realize isn't just like some sort of giddy drunkenness. The weight of your body disappears. Any, like, if you slept funny last night, the weight, like, of your neck that might be in a different... You feel like, it's almost like your spine is stretching out. You feel sort of like... It's like a mild anti-gravity effect that takes away the aches and pains of being in a terrestrial body in a space where you're constantly pulled down.
She thinks on the taste, sort of letting the effect settle in before turning to Clara and saying, it's certainly enchanted. Makes you feel light.
I see. Clara, realizing that her first attempt to say, here, there's some fancy champagne for you, failed flatly, she is going to more directly just state, perhaps you should continue drinking it, just in case there's something different at the bottom.
Adhira clicks to it. Certainly, lady.
Bahania looks at the nearest staff member and says, might I ask, Sir Mance, is he in the display room? Staff member says, last I saw, Sir Mance was in the living room. Ah, wonderful. Another member of staff looks at you, Caliban, and says, Caliban von Halick, correct? And they, like, bow to you.
I, like, bow in return.
It is so wonderful to have you in this humble household. As this is the first time that you have visited, please be aware that the first floor is open to any and all guests, excluding the West Wing guest hall. The doors to that space are locked, so should you try a door and it's locked, well, take that as a message that this is not a space you're allowed in. But any other room, please, open to you to explore. There is an art studio, a music room, a library, and of course the display room where other objects that are to be sold are being put on display. The female member of staff points to the object in your hand and says, I believe that you were bringing something. Is this the object in question?
That would be it.
I see. Perhaps Bahanier puts a hand up to her and says, I understand that the object needs to be put on display and people need to see it, but I most absolutely introduce my nephew to Sir Mance as quickly as possible. Perhaps the movement of the blade could be given to one of his security staff? And he looks over at Uther and Dafer and says, one of you would be willing to take the blade to the display room, surely?
I'll nod and take the box.
Very well.
Check with them.
At which point, the group of you move out into the next corridor. Let's see what I can reveal to you. I think I'm just going to reveal the areas that be open to you because the member of staff would have, like, just described it to you guys.
Actually, one thing, Sam. So right now we're splitting up. Some with the blade and me with the rest of the party.
That's correct. Yes.
I think noticing that and the chance of somebody asking for a demonstration, if that comes to pass, makes Dave realize that he should swap sides. Like he just taps Luther's shoulder and motions for him to go with Caliban and Co.
Dafer is basically, silently intoning to you that you should take the sword, I guess.
Anything goes wrong, holler out, and I'll just hand it over and step in line behind the group.
Dafer. The member of staff that's talking to you, this woman servant, looks at you and says, "Please follow me." Give me a stealth check with advantage, Dafer, to hide the casting of the spell.
Okay. Stealth or stealth, right?
Stealth with advantage.
Please. Oh.
As she's talking to someone else and like people are distracted, as Caliban leaves the room, a group of people sort of like give their respects to Caliban, which kind of draws the attention as Caliban, when Haley is said out loud, gives you a moment to cast your spell before the servant looks back at you and says, "Please follow me." She leads you through the art gallery. You see pictures of the Trismerian coast and like rivers and things like that. Bodies of water seem to be the main art on display in the gallery. She then takes you on that right-hand corridor past the function hall and into the display room. Here, there are quite a few things on these like temporary pedestals with thick glass covering them. There are some little plaques of descriptions of what they are. Some of the objects have like a who brought it to be auctioned off on it. Some of them, it seems like the person who donated them wanted to remain anonymous. I don't know if you'd be looking surreptitiously at the objects in the room to see if there was anything that stood out to you, Dafer, or whether you're like trying to just like laser focus on what this woman is going to tell you, or what you would do in this moment.
I mean, I don't think I cared too much about what she says. The artifacts in question here might become relevant later if either somebody else grabs them, like, or the commotion breaks up, or whatever. So I'd keep an eye on the artifacts in question, like what is that, like keeping a catalog. What is there? What might become dangerous to us if something breaks out?
Give me
what is of particular relevance.
Give me an Arcana check as you stand in a room full of magical things.
Arcana check.
21. First of all, your eyes kind of like pass over the room. There's only one sword in here apart from the one you just brought in. In a case at the northern end of the display room going towards the library, there is this long sword in a case. That catches you off guard because when you think of Caliban, you think of a rapier, and the sword in his family home, like Wrath, appears to be a rapier, but there's this long sword there. There's a little plaque next to it, and from a distance you can see the words angelic weapon. But it's a little harder to make out everything because there's like a title which is like angel blade, basically, and then smaller text underneath. Some of the other things that stand out to you is there appears to be the horn of a unicorn in one of these cases. There is a ring that is made out of all the different colors of the rainbow, but it appears to be serpent scales that the ring is made out of. There is like a lot of pottery and things like old artifacts sort of around. There is another thing that is from Laments that is the funerary mask of someone. Looks like it's made of solid gold with like gems being used instead of paint. Like there's flat planes of cut gemstones that are used instead of like any sort of paint on the gold. And there's also a Vangi Golem core in here. It's hard to read exactly what the Golem core is for, but you can tell from a distance that the core is still active. It's big too. It's like the size of a car engine. This big clay casked magical source of power that is used to giving animation to the to animate the animationless. And that is in the room as well. As you sort of like glance across everything, those are the big things that stand out to you. She looks at you and says, if you do not mind, there is a gentleman here that is doing the testing for our artifacts. While I have no reason to doubt Lord Caliban, Yuvan Yor would certainly like a demonstration of the sword's abilities if he is to give a description at the auction.
I am happy to provide such a demonstration as need be.
Wonderful. One of the security guards is about to step forward, but she puts up a hand and says, the security detail of Lord Caliban will provide. And she leads you through into the training room. There is a man who, at initial glance to you, Caliban, is half spindle frame construct and half a living person. Their cheekbone and orbital bone is missing, and it's replaced with like a spindle frame mechanical piece. There is a solid like crystal lump where the eye is, but the spindle frame goes down the side of the neck. It replaces his left collarbone, and you can see that it kind of goes down his arm. His elbow joint is a spindle frame construct. His like little finger is spindle frame. It goes all the way down the left side of his body, and his entire left leg is this like wireframe build with clothes over the top. He's holding a cane in that like mechanical hand. As he looks at you, the eye rotates and it dilates to focus on you, and then swivels down to the case that you're holding. And he steps forward and says, "Greetings. My name is Yuvan Yor. And you are?"
Talking to me?
No, he's talking to Dafer. You would have been pulled off in another direction, so Dafer's alone right now.
Greetings. My name is Dafer. I am security detail for Caliban von Halik.
He looks over you. Are you wearing your gauntlets and your other stuff? You wearing like all your armor and things like that, Dafer?
I do wear my formal gears. I do, like on visible display, have my bangles to the side, which would give them like, for the trained eye, they could like ascertain, okay, that's like the kind of transforming weapon.
Yeah. I think you see recognition from his immediately. That eye like moves over you, and as it hits the Quicksilver bangles, you get the feeling he knows exactly what it is you're wearing. He looks at you, and in a sense, that reaffirms exactly what you just said. And this guy doesn't appear to be good at, for being half a robot, he's not hiding any of this whatsoever. He's not masking any emotion he's feeling. As you see the palpable excitement of him looking at the case that you're holding, he says, "May you draw the blade that I might look upon it?"
I'll do so. Like, I carefully put down the blade as it is a, of course, very real and legendary artifact.
He looks over it and almost unconsciously reaches out for it, and like a zap from the blade impacts the like metal finger he has, and he like flicks his hand off and says, "Yes, good. Might I see it?" And he gestures towards like a training dummy over to one side.
Yeah.
Remember your training.
Allow me to. I suppose I am to not damage the room too much.
He's about to say, "I don't care," when the servant says, like, "Please, if you could keep damage to the minimal." And he suddenly goes, "Yeah." He actually swears in Binaric as well then. Something barely anyone else in the world would understand that, Dafer, but you catch him curse in the fact that, like, he says... In Binaric, he basically says, "What a damnable existence we live in," but it's more explicit than what I just said.
I tap binaric is mostly like beefs and boobs, binary.
Yes.
Binary signals.
Yeah.
So I assume I can communicate in binaric with like just tapping, and I like just tap the word calm as I walk. And
I think you catch his attention. Like his eye was fixed on the bed, but when you speak Binaric, he looks at you, and there's a professional curiosity that you've just awoken in this man as you speak back to him in a language that not many people speak. And then he remembers you're about to unleash lightning in this room, and he looks back at the sword. Give me a deception check with advantage in this moment to use the blade.
So that's one of my barracks, my chart is gone.
Yes, that would be.
And that is trapped. Which is somewhere on here.
15. You hold the blade out, you jab it forward, the tip goes into the dummy, and a burst of lightning goes out, sizzle over the top. It completely wrecks the training dummy, but doesn't destroy any other part of the room. It like burns marks into the surface of the training dummy. And a few people that are in here just like to watch, like clap, like almost like golf clap, like you just hit a good drive. Yuvan like watches with like there's a degree of like a certain expectation wasn't met. Give me an insight check, Dafer.
Okay.
On a 6, you can tell there's disappointment there. Why or what? But you don't see him like outrage on this quite clear face of his. He's not like a forgery, but there's like a well, nah.
This is about the most I could manage to tamper it down. If I'd gone even a little bit higher, I'm not sure there would be a wall. I'm not sure the wall would have made it.
I think you see that disappointment swivel from the sword to the serving woman that showed you here, and her disappointment is now in her that you couldn't properly show off the blade. But Yuvan says, yes, well, considering the limitations placed on you, I can cleanly see that the blade has the sheen of dragon bone. It has clearly the properties to channel lightning. It is from Dulukot Mountain. This enchantment has been placed across thousands of lightning strikes. It is perfectly worthy to be placed on display. I will get busy fabricating the display panel. Dafer, was it?
Yes.
If you would stay with me while I'm fabricating the panel, I would love to talk about where you learned such a wonderful language.
Now, whatever are you talking about?
He just,
But like, Dafer has a knowing smile.
yeah, one half of his face is in that knowing smile while the other is frozen in robotic rigor mortis. But he heads off with you to look at that. Meanwhile, the rest of your group is led through the art gallery to the left. You are brought past people holding like trays of delicious looking canapes and other foods are brought before you. The sound of music starts to drift in. There must be someone either hired to play the piano here in the music room, or someone who had a fancy education was like, time to show off at a party, and you could just hear music drifting from that space. As you head into the living room, there's another cluster of people here. A few of them are wearing judges' robes that mark them as being a member of the Parisian government. There's 4 that you can sort of see at a glance. There is a beautiful greenhouse with this huge mirror in the living room that looks out into it. And it is Lament's plant. So there's like cactuses in here that are supposed to only flower for a certain amount of time, but the environment in the greenhouse seems to have been artificially created that they're flowering right now. And there are vines that run up and fruits hanging off of the vines and things like that. A conservatory where there are a few other people out there, but it's much quieter out there in the conservatory. And in fact, there's an older woman who is dressed much like the matron does, with this like mourning veil. It's not her, it's a much more haggard older woman. Seems to be sat outside with a glass of something and is just like looking out into the garden where a few people are pottering around. But Bahinir almost like drags you by your sleeve, basically, Caliban, towards a older gentleman with a scar that runs from like the peak of his forehead all the way down across the eye, covered by an eye patch, down the cheekbone and like down the jaw, and it's like a deep scar that's left like a big channel through. There's a notch in the lip as well. Scruffy like white beard, and you realize that all of his guards are dressed in the exact color of his hair and beard. Like the uniform is color matched to his facial hair, basically, is what you're looking at. Barnier steps forward and says, Sir Mance, and he looks around and with one hand almost sweeps your uncle aside and puts out a hand towards you, Caliban, and says, Caliban von Helig, I imagine.
You would be correct. I then take the hand.
He shakes it and looks over at you, Clara, and says, Clara Lux Maddox as well. I read about your engagement in the paper. Wonderful to meet you face to face.
I feel the same way. News travels fast, apparently.
Well, small circles and whispers. I try not to partake in gossip, but it's difficult when all the noise is aflutter with certain words. Please, come, take a seat. He gestures towards this, like, huge sofa that runs all the way along the L shape of, like, the top right corner of this room. So it, like, literally, like, runs like this and fills this entire space to the door and around. And there are a few clusters of people, but as you guys approach, Sir Mance kind of looks at them, and they all seem to vacate the sofa as he sits down and gestures for you to join him.
Well, I'm not going to blow it by refusing his request minute one.
Sitting down, Bahinir's about to sit, and he looks at Bahinir and he says, actually, I'm a little peckish. If you wouldn't mind going to the kitchen and grabbing me something, Bahinir. And Bahinir goes, yep, of course. And he turns and leaves, and he turns to look at you and says, Your uncle has told me much about you, Caliban. I understand that despite your circumstance, your position, you have enrolled to become an Empress Knight. In fact, were you not recently in Northern Trismere, if I recall reading correctly, yes?
You would be correct.
I myself am Trismerian. I fought in the war on the wrong side, unfortunately, but bygones be bygones. I did rebel against certain nobility, but, well, they saw fit to allow me my title to remain intact. You would think that might hurt my love of my homeland, but certainly not. I understand what I did was wrong, but we all must do what we think is right in the moment.
That's so. Well. Hold on, I'm trying to think. I don't believe I've caught your name.
Well, my first name is Reaver, Reiver, Sir Reaver Mance. My sister is somewhere around here. I would love to introduce the two of you. She's something of a still practicing warrior herself, Dana, Dayna. I wonder if she's in the training room. She has a habit of finding these kinds of poor parties a little dull. What about
it
you?
May come off as impolite, but it would. I take no offense that she's found some way to occupy her mind besides these. Well, let's. If I may be blunt, frivolities.
I can tell perhaps you're not a fan of such events either. I apologize that our first meeting is in a place that you perhaps are not having the most fun.
I take no offense. This is, well, it's expected of me to take part in this, and to be fair, there is a certain thrill to be had in maybe the maneuverings of more conversational stratagems rather than the physical kind.
I'm glad that you find yourself a balanced individual. Your uncle certainly seems more tilted towards one than the other.
Is Bahanir out of earshot?
Oh yeah, he went running as soon as Sir Mance told him to.
Well, the center of gravity has certainly shifted as well.
I don't suppose your uncle told you that everything mentioned here, the money will go towards Trismerians living in Empress City that are having a hard time with things. All of this is for charity. I assumed when he said you were going to bring something that you weren't looking for funds.
Of course not. Though, the same cannot be said of Bahanir. I'm sure you are aware.
Yes, your uncle seems singularly motivated.
You need not be polite. You can say avaricious.
Oof, what a bold young man you are. Well, I'll let you say it, and I shall knowingly smile.
I can tell we're gonna get along well.
Certainly. His attention shifts to you at this point, Clara, and says, "It's an interesting artifact that your handmaiden has there. Is that a spirit lantern?"
It is. We have found that they're a little bit more adept than most people at being able to see danger coming before it arrives.
I have had the honor of working with certain individuals that were had made deals with fair folk, fairy marks, things like that. I can't say I've ever seen a spirit vessel this close up. It's rather beautiful.
It is. I would say inspect it, but its occupant can be a little
Oh,
shy.
I would never without a gift for the occupant, as you put it. I understand that, well, they, like us nobles, have their protocol.
Can I get sort of a mental read on Terminus, what he feels about this guy's vibes?
Yeah, give me an insight check on Terminus, so give it to me at advantage. 22? What you get from Terminus is a sense of confusion. Like Terminus can't get a read on him.
And he's used to getting a read on everybody.
This is a noble that lives in Empress City, that he's not picking up some form of rottenness from this man. It's throwing Terminus for a loop and confusing the spirit within the lantern right now, basically, Atira. There's just like nothing.
That is weird.
Okay, can I ask a question on this?
Of course you can, Uther.
Okay. When Terminus judges something as rotten, is he basing that off of his own perception of their actions or the individual's perception of their actions?
Technically, Terminus is tapped into like a universal consciousness. When Terminus says something is rotten, it's like an absolute truth, basically. Like there's a unconscious sort of like
you have failed the cosmic vibe check.
Yeah, so the cosmos is judging this man is not rotten, I guess, is how Terminus would see it. And there is a degree of like a little bit in most people. It's not impossible that someone would be completely pure of it as a sense. It just doesn't match the pattern, and that's definitely throwing Terminus off. So Mance kind of sits and he says, I'm sure there's a great much that you couldn't tell me about your training so far, but I grew up trained to fight, knighted for my command in combat. I must wonder, how does it feel to wear one of those shells? Sort of an open question to... technically, he wouldn't have addressed that towards you, Adhira, but he definitely addressed it to Uther, Clara, and Caliban.
I'll be keeping quiet. I am playing a role right now.
Okay.
I didn't like it very much at the start. It feels a little strange having your power, as it were, linked to something almost separate from yourself. But you become used to it. These days I barely even think about it.
My sister, she considered trying to get some sort of special approval for one. She prides herself on her ability in combat, and well, in the end, she decided that she thought that she'd feel much the same as you did initially, Clara. So I think hearing that from you is giving me some belief that perhaps she was correct in her initial decision. A shame. I would like to see what my sister could do if she did wear one. With that, he looks up and you see a like grim-sized woman, same hair as her brother, basically longer. She has her clothing covers the bottom part of her face, much like Andrus, and her hair is swept over one eye, so there's like only one eye visible. The hair kind of goes down over one shoulder, and you realize that the guards here are actually not based on him, but her. All of the outfits are designed to make the guards here look like Dana. She's absolutely massive, and you can see the greatsword that is probably about the size of Adhira over her back, and you can still see the handle. As she steps forward, Sir Mance stands up, and the two of them hug. She puts like one arm around him, and you can almost see him lift up as she squeezes him, and says, "Brother, I just saw the most delightful blade used in the training room." She tilts her head and says, "I believe it is to be auctioned. You are the one that provided it, are you not? You must be Caliban." This very tall individual looks down at you, Caliban, and...
So, I say, and you must be, out of character, it's Dana?
Dame Dana Mance.
And you must be Dame Mance.
That you know me already is a blessing. And her brother says, "Of course he knows you. Why would I not mention your name? You are the pride of our family, dear sister." And the two of them sort of like give each other a like, oh ha ha sort of look as they exchange looks between each other. And she looks at you and says, "I would very much like that blade, I will not lie, brother. If there is anything we buy tonight, it must be that weapon." Uther, give me an insight check.
Oh, that was
Oh,
me shit posting, but okay.
There is an uncomfortable amount of tension between the two of them, you would say, Uther, but you don't know if that's just some like weird family closeness. But yeah, I think Uther genuinely does get that sort of strange feeling from the two of them. Dana sits down, taking the blade off of her shoulders and like sets it to one side, taking up like a good portion of the sofa so that no one can sit there. She just like lays the blade down as it depresses the cushions with its weight. She sits next to you, Clara, and says, "I have been looking forward to meeting you since I heard that Caliban might be coming, and I thought, I wonder if he will bring his lovely bride-to-be." She smiles, and you can just about see the corners of her like cheeks lift up behind the fabric.
Appreciate you thinking of me so positively.
I probably should not say this so loudly with judges in the room, but I do wish your brother had struck down that EK rather than the other way round.
My brother made his decision. Perhaps if he had been more prepared for said combat, we would be having a much different conversation.
Would that I could have trained your brother. I'm sure he would still be here, and we would be having a much more jovial conversation.
I appreciate you thinking of him that way. I'm sure he would have loved to have met you.
She smiles. He turns and says, "Your handmaiden. She knows how to fight as well. Good."
Looking at me.
Oh yeah, she looks at you, Adhira, and she can see, you can meek yourself as much as you want, but she can tell you can fight.
No.
It has always seemed bizarre to me when someone wishes to employ a handmaiden purely for running around and bearing cups.
Certainly.
I'm perfectly capable of holding a glass myself.
I more than agree.
Having someone I trust behind my back, that's invaluable.
There isn't a member of staff in this room that I have not trained how to kill a man. You're very safe here.
No.
And Saruman says, it is true, there are a great many people left disenfranchised by the war, and technically ourselves included, but we had enough left over that we could at least help pick people back up, put them on their feet. We may have fought on opposite sides of the war, but the many peacekeeper veterans that the city has let fall to the wayside, this is their home now, as well as us. Dana sort of reclines on the sofa, spreads her arms out, looks out into the garden, and says, but we have kept you long enough. Please, there is some time until the auction. Head to the display room. There's a great many things there that your family might be interested in. I can only imagine there must be something you're here for, Caliban.
That's our invitation, dearest. Come, I do so want to look at the artifact.
Of course. I can't tell who gets up first, but I like to imagine Clara just yanks Cal.
Oh, yes.
Both of the Mad siblings keep their eyes fixed on the two of you as you two leave the living room and back out into the corridor with your two members of staff in tow. There aren't too many people in the corridor here. You see Barnier heading back towards you as he says, I'm sure the meeting went lovely. I have something private to discuss with Sir Mance. I need to bring him these as well. And he heads in through the door, and like for the first time ever, Caliban skips past you to pay attention to someone else.
Am I able to like get a glance at what it is he's trying to like bring to attention?
Well, he has the food that he was asked for. I think
right.
You also see your uncle sweats. This is the sweatiest you've ever seen. It's like coming down like his forehead to the point like it's dripping off his eyebrow and like onto his cheek and then down. He's very,
really
very
that much effort?
nervous.
Did it take him that much effort just to
grab some cat
bring
face?
some food?
But yeah, once he's in, that sort of leaves you guys more to yourself in this corridor.
I just kind of lean in between Caliban and Clara. Those two are weird.
They certainly have a lot of energy.
Terminus feels that there is not an ounce of rot on Sir Mance, and that in itself is very weird.
How do you trick a spirit?
Would I know if there... No, I don't think she would. I don't think she'd have that sort of knowledge.
Yeah. You don't know if it's possible or impossible. I think that's the problem.
Would I be able to sort of... How long until the actual auction?
Let's say about an hour, hour and a half, something like that you guys will be forced to hobnob with these rich people.
I will move about with the pretense that I am just sort of ambiently scanning for threats or danger. But I'm going to make my way through the conservatory and into the greenhouse, which, while surrounded with beautiful lampshade plants, is going to give me a view on the living room and the conversation between Bahir and Mance.
Okay, absolutely. Adhira peels off from the group, heading towards the greenhouse. Do you want to drop yourself on the greenhouse for me? So
yeah, I was just about to...
We start keeping track of where people are.
I was going to draw a green smiley face, but this works too.
Are Uther and Clara and Caliban heading to the display room to look at the things on display, or is there somewhere else the trio would like to move to?
see if.
Well, I would like to look at the displays regardless.
Okay.
Yeah.
As the three of you enter the room, you see Dafer in the middle of the room with a man who is like partially robotic, and they at present are having a conversation by, as far as you can tell, like tapping and almost like sharing an in-joke as this man literally uses a metal finger to scratch words into a metal plate in order to put it on display next to the dragon bone sword that you guys bought. Otherwise, there are some people in here looking at different display cases. Clara, taking a look around, I guess you see all the sort of same things that Dafer did. There's the unicorn horn, there's a funerary mask, a ring of serpent scales that's sort of rainbow colored. There is the longsword. There is the like big Vangi golem claw, and then there's like a ton of smaller artifacts, like some dug up pottery fragments from some mess and things like that as well.
I'm gonna go and try and read the plaque on the rainbow snake ring, if there is one.
Yeah. Taking a look at the plaque, it says, ring forged from the scales of a rainbow sea serpent. Rainbow sea serpents are famed for their ability to retain the information of any victim that they consume. Confined within this ring are the collective knowledge of over 2,000 individuals.
Wow.
And yeah, it's like a kind of like a quite normal band, but it is 7 different colors and like these wrapped scales that it's made out of, and it looks like there might be like a metal in between to like bind it all together. But yeah, it's like these beautiful vibrant versions of the rainbow colors all the way around the band.
Like they would have passed by me on their way to there, right?
Yeah, they're in the room. You can like see them out the corner of your eye, Dafer.
I would motion at Uther at one point, or excuse myself quickly to approach Uther.
Yeah, and just to let you know what he would have asked you about, Dafer, he would have asked you about the automatons near where you live, because he would have been interested in like your work in like salvaging parts of them. So the conversation would have been vaguely about what it is you would do around that. But he politely lets you go as he finishes what he's doing.
Mm-hmm. Uther, I don't know about any of the other artifacts here, but you are the one that has studied Vangi culture and their military ability, the closest. I'd like to know how much of a military threat an actual Vangi golem could be if somebody gets that core and gets it working.
Do you want to take a look at the engine that's in this room, Uther?
Because for context, we already know that somebody is amassing an army. Like they got already guns, and like if somebody is purchasing this golem core, that like if it is a very valuable military edition.
My question is, how much of a threat is the core by itself, and how much of the threat would be whatever it powers? Like, if you have a car engine sitting in your living room, that's not too big of a deal. If someone has driven a Ford F-350 through your living room, that's more of a problem.
And if somebody managed to build a tank around that Ford F-350 motor,
an F-350 is already a tank, buddy.
Taking a look, 2 things strike you as interesting about this golem core. One, Uther, it's currently active. It's not bound to anything, but someone who knew what they were doing could essentially put a few marks on some of the walls here and use it as the material for this golem to materialize. Like, anyone with the right knowledge could just turn this display room into a stone golem at any point. On a 16, it's a basic motion to the motionless core, which is like the basic precept of any golem core. But this core has something unique about it that you've not seen other than like in some of the descriptive texts on the like journals about Vangi culture that you've seen. They have the ability to like adaptively learn. So this golem core, once it is installed in something, whatever it is installed in will only get more capable over time. Most golems are like, you do this job. Whatever this thing would be used for, to begin with, would be on par with that, but eventually you see no reason it couldn't eventually attain some form of like sentience.
That sounds eerily reminiscent of the thing that Caliban fought.
Uther reaches into his coat pocket, pulls out a notebook, starts making notes on the runes on this thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Seen before.
Yeah, Caliban, you watch.
In Coptic.
Yeah.
Coptic. He just lowly and calmly to Dafer. This thing's a ticking time bomb. It's active. This whole room could be converted into a weapon at a moment's notice.
Great.
And yeah, he just making his notes, just trying to not be freaking out at the very active threat in the room.
Caliban, you watch your security detail get distracted by taking notes on rune crafting in one corner of the room. Caliban,
You appreciate us?
as well, there is an angel blade in this room. In the case at the far north of the room, you can see angelic blade is like the title words, and there's the plaque underneath with the description written. It doesn't look anything like you expected it to look like, Caliban. It is a sort of silver longsword. There's a wrap on the handle, which is odd. It should just be pure metal. It's like a leather sort of wrap around the base of the handle that maybe has been added by someone for whatever reason. But yeah, the configuration looks wrong. The color looks wrong. It doesn't look anything like Wrath at all. Obviously, there should be Ruin, but they're called twin blades.
Maybe they're fraternal twins.
Maybe so. Would you like to go take a look at it, or?
Yeah, I'll take a look.
Getting closer, it's contained within like a glass case, so you can't get too close to it. The plaque calls it the Angelic Weapon Downfall, and lists it as a blade that belonged to one of the soldier order angels under the Archangel Zemes. Doesn't list it as Ruin, doesn't mention the Archangel Zemes, but calls the blade Downfall instead.
Do I know who, like, which noble family this might have belonged to?
Give me a history check.
Just history.
17? Your mind flashes back to a very early memory. Your parents entrusted your education to a large part to tutors. Your mother obviously made sure to teach you music and language, and she was away a lot, but anytime she was there, she would try and take lessons. Your dad only ever sat down and taught you one thing, and that is the artifacts of the noble houses, the artifact of your noble house and why that makes you more important than anyone else. And it is because of that linked memory of the only time you ever saw your father in that teaching room with you, that you know that Downfall is not the name of any angel weapon you have ever heard of. It is not linked to a noble family. In fact, you don't think it's a real name of an angel weapon whatsoever. This plaque, completely false. Whatever that sword in there is, it's something other than that plaque says.
When I held Wrath, did it exude like an aura that I was like able to like feel?
Absolutely. It felt like a conversation was happening between you and the blade, but more like between your body and the blade. You've never felt that holding any other weapon before. Unfortunately, between you and this blade is a thick sheet of bulletproof glass.
Clara is going to absent-mindedly wander over. Oh, this looks... Well, this looks angelic. That's what we came here for, isn't it?
I don't think this is it.
Why not? You having second thoughts?
Doesn't... I remember all my teachings, and he points out like the little name underneath angelic weapon where it says Downfall. Never heard of this one. And trust me, I had many of the names drilled into my head.
Clara is going to take quick note of where, like, the guards are in the room, or, like, just outside of it.
Yeah, glancing over your shoulder very quickly, Clara, you see there are two guards in the room. They're on the far side of the room from you, but their vision sort of intersects over, like, because they're looking diagonally across the room, so you're sort of in the middle of both of their field of views, but kind of on the edge of the, like, if that makes sense, if they're, like, looking to each corner. So you're kind of in the view of those two?
I presume there is no way that, like, I could be out of view of them. But judging from what you've said, there is a way that I could still be in their view with my back towards both of them.
You're absolutely correct in that, yes.
Clara is gonna, like, wander around the case until she's in a right position. Let me, well, obviously we can't take it out of the glass, but let me have a look. And I will spend one of my hit die and turn the special eyes on.
Give me an insight check with advantage.
26.
26. You cast your eyes upon the blade. It is definitively it is an actual angel's weapon. And you do see etched into every, like, piece of this metal is the history of finding and killing things like you fought in the basement of that monastery up in the mountains. This blade has destroyed an uncountable amount of scourge beings. And yet, as you look at it, Clara, all you can see is a frail old individual that is curled up on itself and, like, huddled around the last little flame of something, keeping itself warm. It is drained, it is beaten, and it is, like, holding on to life even as an inanimate object, only just.
I think I see what you mean. It's definitely an angel weapon, and a strong one at that. I get the sense it's killed many a thing, but I don't know, something about it looks a little spent compared to what I'm used to seeing.
And Oh, did you not pick up what I said?
You said and that.
No,
bit.
I said spent.
Oh,
Cast.
Oh, well, like when a person gets old, they can't do the things they used to, and they have to sit and relax more often. They become frail, and you just can't. You couldn't fight someone in your late old ages, not the same way that you could as a young, spry man. It just feels a little old.
Well, an angel weapon is an angel weapon, so.
As you guys are talking, another person in this room who's been like looking around objects, unfortunately like wanders over to the point where you guys have to like hush your conversation. Glancing at her, she seems to be from Heaven's Pillar. Her makeup is done in a way that it purposely has been made to look like she's been crying. Like it drips down her cheeks like on purpose. She's got a permanent look on her face, like she's just walked in on the dead body of a loved one. She's sort of like aghast at every object that she looks at, and as she walks over, she looks like aghastly at this blade, and she looks at you, Caliban, and says, "Oh, I would not purchase this weapon. I can sense a terrible curse upon it."
I look at her, then I look back at Clara.
A curse? Of what kind? We can't buy a cursed weapon.
Oh, yes, of course. Well, you do not have to take my word for it, but I am somewhat of an expert in cursed objects, and I must say that the curse upon this blade is one that brings devastation to any that might hold it. Yes, certainly the decision-making and the results of any decision you make while this blade is in your possession will certainly lead you to, and she looks at you, Caliban, like dead in the eyes, and says, "End up just like your uncle." And then she breaks into laughter and says, "Lovely to meet you. My name is Rhiannon."
Rhiannon?
Yes. She puts her hand out to you and says, "I assure you the blade isn't cursed at all."
You got me.
She points at you, Clara. I think you were acting, but maybe for a second.
No, sadly not at all. Rhiannon's a lovely name. You must be from Heaven's Pillar, or at least your parents must have been.
I am from Heaven's Pillar. I took the train down just for this. Occasionally, these auctions do actually have cursed objects, and I am generally somewhat of a collector.
I'm just glad to see someone from my homeland. I don't often get to see people like that these days. It's a breath of fresh air.
My goddess, that hair, your smile, you must be a Lux Maddox.
Fortunately or unfortunately. Yes, Clara, lovely to meet you.
She takes your hand and curtsy bows as she takes it. Says, "I had the pleasure of knowing your brother."
I'm friends with a lot of people here seem to have described him as a pleasure. Not words I'm used to hearing, but...
Well, honestly, he was trouble, but the smile, who can be mad?
Well, I can say at least we have that in common.
I do agree. She looks around the room and says, "I believe the only cursed object here is actually the unicorn horn." Not something I'd want to purchase. I find it kind of gauche.
Certainly maybe a little bit too on the nose.
She whispers to you, Clara, and says, "Normally they're supposed to be only from centuries ago. The killing and making of these things was banned, but I'm pretty sure that was made a few short years ago. Very illegal." And she inhales through her teeth and widens her eyes as she looks around the room.
So, is there anything in this room that strikes your fancy, cursed or otherwise?
She looks around and she says, you know, as weird as it is, the two men over by that large clay thing, there's a certain degree of, I could see it in the middle of my kitchen, with like a table on the top. Is that odd?
I don't know. Perhaps you just have a really interesting kitchen.
Oh, my kitchen is mostly natural wood. Live in the high branches of some of the great trees in the capital. And she is absolutely talking about the golem core, Uther. Not that she knows what it is, really. She's looking at it. She says, I'm sorry to have interrupted what I assumed to be a private conversation between you and your suitor. A pleasure, and goodbye. And she swivels around and heads over, and she walks towards someone who's looking at the rainbow ring, and she goes, oh, I wouldn't purchase that. She approaches him.
He's got one joke. I love it.
I'm going to use this bit on everyone. Who comes.
I think...
Hinder,
yeah, Uther.
can I slide over towards the gentleman with the heavy prosthesis?
Yeah, absolutely. He's
Making
like...
my notes on the thing.
He's like set the plaque in at that point as he like straightens himself up, and Uther, you're approaching. Is there anything? Do you want to say something in particular, or are you like trying to get a look at him, or?
No, I'm gonna start a conversation real quick.
Okay. He sees you approaching and says, "Hello."
Are you in charge of the... And I gesture at the displays.
I was asked as a favor by Sir Mance to check the authenticity of some of the objects placed here. I can guarantee that they are all, and he pats the fake sword in front of him, perfectly authentic.
Authenticity is not the problem I'm having right now. The problem I'm having is, are you aware that the golem core is active?
Be an awful golem core if it wasn't, I suppose.
Sure. I mean, anyone with the right knowledge could spawn a golem in this very room right now.
Oh, I see. Well, yes.
Okay, it's not my mansion, and...
He smiles and says, I assure you, in terms of security, the fact there would be damage, most assuredly, but there would be no risk to the guests.
Very well, and I'm going to merge back into the group.
Meanwhile, Adhira, in the greenhouse, looking around, as you step in, the space has been enchanted to sound like bird song that you are familiar with from your homeland. The smell, you smell the spices and like the smell of street food cooking that you remember fondly. And the space is like filled with the flowering of these cactuses. And all of a sudden, it's like everything else is muffled and distant. And it's you and one other person in here. And you immediately clock that they also seem to be from Laments. And it's another woman who's kind of sat. She's got her eyes closed, and she's running a finger along the spines of a cactus, almost purposely occasionally like pricking her finger on it and just feeling that. But she seems to be lost in like her own like little sensory world away from you right now. I do not know what you'd like to do here.
Do I have a view of Mance and behind you?
You turn your head to the right, huge window that looks through to you. So yes, you do, and they have a view of you. Although you notice that it is the sister who is sort of looking out the greenhouse, and she's looking past you, but at you at the same time, so you're sort of like in her field of vision, but she seems to be looking, you would say, more so at the hedge labyrinth out there, and sort of like daydreaming. Sir Mance and Bahanir are having a conversation. Bahanir looks actively quite concerned, and Sir Mance has lost a lot of the like smiliness he had with Caliban, and you can see a quite clear disdain for his uncle on his face.
How is Terminus with reading lips? How am I with reading lips?
I think you would be better at it. In this case, I'd say with disadvantage, but you can give it a go if you want to. It'd be a perception check with disadvantage, Atira.
Okay.
I believe in you.
I believe I...
8. There are a few words where the mouth moves in such a way that you absolutely cannot miss what is said, especially since this is a skill honed from watching people across marketplaces and looking out for who has money. You see the word debt come from Sir Mance, and you see the word harm come from Bahanir, and finally you see the word investigation from Mance.
I's gonna flick back over to the sister. She's still daydreaming?
At the word investigation, she seems to have looked around, and then she looks at other people in the space. She gestures for like one of the staff members. They come over. She whispers something in the ear, and they clear more space around Sir Mance and Bahanir as they're having this conversation. Almost, she's like, perhaps this should be a little bit more private, and like shoo some people away. As you're fixated on the inside, a voice comes to you, and like from the corner where that woman was sat, she just says, getting away from the hustle and bustle.
Adhira draws a breath, turns, and says, yes, I saw these plants from the living room. Thought I might...
Miss
The
Home.
best word for it is yes. Put it simply.
It's much too cold here, even in the summer.
AC is the devil's work.
Very true. I love your eye makeup. Very traditional.
Thank you. I did it myself.
Are you here as a guest, or?
Adheres her, straightens her back, that she was to play here, and says, I am currently in the employ of someone.
Oh. Someone I know?
Do you know Clara Lux Maddox?
I know the Maddox name by reputation, but Clara I do not. Interesting.
Adhere's gonna stick out a hand. Say, I am Adhere.
She looks at it, she steps forward, and she gives you a sort of like gentle hug.
Oh, okay. Insight check. Is this sort of like a very personal woman, or is this the cultural connection?
Give me an insight check.
Is this the secret lamp she had chick?
14. This woman's high as a kite, Atira. She
Awesome.
Her pupils are massive. She just hugged you. She was like pricking her finger on that cactus, and you're like, oh, maybe it's like some sort of strange ritual. No, she's just like sensing like touch weirdly right now, and she was like, that's interesting. Like she's spaced right now, Atira, as she steps away.
I feel much more comfortable around her now. I don't have to explain myself. She'll just forget it in 5 minutes.
She says, handshake, schmanshake. We're family.
Yes, we are. May I have your name, sister?
Well, please call me Iverette.
Everett.
Yes.
I'm gonna give the old ISO try spelling it.
Like ivory. No. Like that.
I tried.
I think both of you completely valid, but no. I'm a merchant for gems, actually.
So you have seen the lampshade face mask in the display room, the one with all the pretty stones on it?
She taps her nose and says, "Shush, shush, I brought that."
What exactly is it? Like, do I know what it is? Like,
Give me a history.
ambiently?
Give me a history check. 14. Funerary masks are very important relics that absolutely should never be removed from burial chambers.
Oh, okay, problematic.
She says, that is the funerary mask of the tyrant king Nor Rami. Awful man. Terrible. Hundreds, I think. Maybe thousands.
Slightly less problematic. That's a pretty sizable artifact to have brought.
Had to smuggle it inside of a stuffed elephant.
Hold on, just give me a moment. As a player, you are like sucker punching me with every sentence.
No, this isn't the worst thing that's ever come out of Henry's mouth. We're still.
It's a bit extreme, but our country's not going to miss it? Question mark.
Oh, well, I don't think our country even knows the tomb's been discovered.
Right.
Would you like a fruit? I'm gonna get one.
Yes.
And she reaches up and takes one and chomps into it. Sits down.
Does it look hallucinogenic or psychoactive in any way? Am I?
Give me a nature check. 14.
14 again.
It's very brightly colored. You don't think it is. And there's some sign on her arm of maybe what she's taken as opposed to it being ingested from a fruit. There's no guarantee it isn't, but you see some evidence of maybe she had other ways of taking her drug of choice.
I will take a fruit. I assume I can procure like a handkerchief or something and wrap a small piece into my pocket.
She takes a fine... When you're looking around for something, she takes a fine silken thing out of her pocket and wraps it up for you and hands it to you. Like, here you go. You want to keep some for later?
Yes, that sounds better. Once everything has sort of died down in the excitement, to be able to really savor it.
Oh, the excitement. These things are fucking dull.
Hinder.
Yep.
I don't know how Adhira, as a player, would go around asking these questions, but I know that she would have a way to start it. But if I were to steal that mask, I'm certain that I can start by gaining some information from her on how these things are stored.
Okay. You want to ask her...
Yes, I will sit down and I will nibble.
You want to try and work her for information. I'll tell you what. I'll give me a persuasion or like any social check with advantage, and then we'll go from there as to how many questions you can ask and get like slip in basically.
Would I gain anything by activating Astral Visage and giving my hair a nice shiny glow and weightlessness to this obviously drugged up woman?
Give me the check with advantage, and then we'll talk beyond that.
Okay. Okay.
Are you going to also use your spirit vision at the moment, or are you happy with just the natural 20? Because I will give you more if you use the spirit point as well.
I was told that I was brought here not to be a nice, noble lady. I am here as a servant, and I believe the exact words were, "Go steal from the rich." So I will be dedicating my resources to stealing from the rich. I will use a spirit point and activate my visage.
Well, of course I feel like it's safe here. Have you seen all the guards? They're all veterans of the war, and every single one of them has those fancy little belt things, lets them zip up into the sky. I mean, sure, they're better at shooting from a distance, but I mean, who's gonna argue when someone shoves a gun straight in your face either? And most of the walls are alarmed, and the sewer access is alarmed, and the keys on the major domo, and honestly, it's all very, very safe. Dame Dana is a nightmare to deal with. She pick a grown man up by the head. I've actually seen her kill someone like that. Just squish, you know? Pop. And you asked about my mask, did you? Oh, it's wonderful. I love my mask. It can actually turn someone completely intangible, as if they were like a ghost or something. You just walk straight through walls. It's crazy, really. But the hard part, putting it on. It's huge. Hurt your neck. I don't think you could wear it. You're a little slip of a girl. But someone bigger, stronger, who was like, I don't know, like a shell user, probably could just put it on without a problem. What did you say?
I'm just saying it's a wonderful mask, very well protected. Absolute Cheshire grin. As I nod and make my hair sort of bob a little and just continue on, just continue talking. Who's the major domo again?
A very stern man by the name of Zeke. Usually in the kitchen, likes his food.
I will stay here for a little bit, just sort of, keep her occupied, eventually drop my astral visage when she seems content to focus on the world revolving around her and tasty fruit juices in her mouth. Poke my head back up. Mance and Bahin are still talking, or are they split ways?
When you pop your head back up, Bahnir is sat on the sofa with a bit of a 1,000-yard stare, and you no longer see Sir Mance or Dame Dana.
How bad does he look with a 1,000-yard stare?
You have your visage up, so I think insight with advantage, right? I think.
Yes.
Yeah. 12. He has been nothing but a despicable man the entire time you've known him, Adhira. I don't think you've ever seen him look quite as human as he does sat on that sofa right now. Looking basically at the wall, at the northern wall of the living room, and sort of just pallid. The red of his bluster is just gone.
Adhira's going to watch him silently for a few seconds, and then turn to Everett and say, "Can I get your card? Do you have a business card?"
She takes out a ruby about the size of your thumb with her contact details engraved on it and hands it to you.
Oh my god, it would be so easy to just steal her wallet. But I am better than that for now. I will take the ruby. is say goodbye to my new best friend. And I'm going to move into the living room.
Moving into the space. You see two judges in the corner having a conversation, but people are starting to filter to the function hall at this point. We're like eking closer to the point where an auction will be, and some of the like first lot items in the display room are being like boxed up. The like vases and smaller objects that will go for a few hundred gold are like being put into the backstage area right now, while the main objects are still here under guard. That's kind of what you see as you walk in here.
I am going to approach Bahinir quietly and just put a hand on his shoulder.
Sorry, my dearest. Must have, everything okay?
You tell me, is it?
Rather odd question. Yes. Just a bit of a funny day, isn't it?
Depends how you look on it, but yeah. Function's starting.
Right.
Should go be with Caliban, shouldn't you?
Give me an insight check. The word Caliban makes him look up at you. He says, yes, my nephew. Best we are all together for the auction. He stands up and says, Clara said something about the display room. We should look there.
Yes. I'm going to let him move on ahead, and then I'm going to use the sort of everyone moving away to cast Enhance Ability Dexterity on myself.
Okay.
Follow.
You move into the display room. Dana has entered the room and is talking with Yvonne. I think, Adhira, as you walk in with Bahinir, the rest of your companions are like looking at various objects in the space. You guys can move into a room that's private. There's no one else in the library right now if you want to talk amongst yourself. Otherwise, what do you want to do?
I'm just waiting for when the function starts and start looking for opportunities. I still haven't caught any sight of anyone who might be Zeke or anyone who stands out amongst the white masks.
Give me a perception check. Looking around, everyone seems to be in a self-same uniform. They've all got the mask with one eye. They've all got the hair sort of curled up. You don't see anyone that stands out as being different other than Dana herself. If he's somewhere, he's not in this space, basically, here.
I'll wait for the rest of the group, and then when people start splitting off, I will also split off.
Are you all heading to the function hall for the auction to start?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
I assume so.
You head into the function hall. Everyone seems to be gathered here. Much of the staff has entered this space, all lined up on either side of the walls here. The auctioneer takes the stage by a man by the name of Marcel. The first objects begin to come out. Uther, give me an insight check.
Insight. Normal or modified?
Just normal.
14.
you look around the space, and there's something that's been gnawing at you from, like, the moment you arrived. As you look at everyone in here, at first you're like, well, it's an uncomfortable environment. There's all these rich people. There's, like, blatant smuggling, and, like, everyone seems to be perfectly okay with that, right? Like, and Sir Mance is, like, clean of corruption, but holding this auction for smuggled objects. And
Clean of corruption, my ass.
and then you're looking at his staff, all these veterans, all the people with the masks, all the waiters and waitresses with their hair swept over one half of their face, like Dame Dana, and Sir Mance with his eye patch at the front, and all the staff missing the same eye on one side of their face.
I have a question.
Yes.
That's been gnawing at me.
Yes, Uther.
Is everyone's eye patch or missing eye aesthetic on the same eye as Crescent?
Uther, as you stand in this space and the next lot is brought up, you realize everyone's missing the same eye as Crescent. And that's where I'll end the session for this week.
I need you to know I have been sitting here since we first saw the one-eyed noble. I'm like,
Yeah.
Your enemies are everywhere.
That is where we'll leave ourselves for this week. We'll say goodbye.
Oh boy.